Chapter 26 Phantom Magic Upgrade, Materialized Magic. You have performed Phantom Magic seriously once, and you have gained a lot. Phantom Magic Proficiency +4, your Phantom Magic has been upgraded, and the upgrade is Materialized Magic. 8. Illusion Magic has finally been upgraded to LV5. Materialized Magic. Aaron rubbed his head lightly. His tired spirit was relieved a bit, and then he looked at the Phantom Magic after the upgrade. Materialization Magic is not about transforming reality into reality, nor is it about creating objects out of thin air. It is an entity that is almost exactly the same as the reality produced by the materialization of energy. It is very different from the illusion of the previous level. The Phantom Magic of LV1 can only create rough illusions. At most it can deceive some big-hearted ordinary people. The Phantom Magic Law of LV2 can create illusions that can blind most people's vision. The Phantom Magic of LV3 can create energy entity duplication, and the pure appearance observation basically loses the ability to distinguish. The Phantom Entity of LV4, while possessing part of the physical power of the real body, even possesses part of the magic power. It can cast magic, and its combat power is quite impressive. That's about the level of illusion old Loki had when he feigned death to escape Thanos. But the Phantom of LV5 is a huge leap forward. The Phantom Entity created at this time even breaks away from the category of Phantom, inherits the fighting consciousness and skills of the real body, and can also use almost all the magic of the real body. The level of magic displayed will be lower, but it is still shocking. Except for using some extremely special abilities, outsiders can't tell the truth from the fake at all. Just like the name of magic, materialization magic. From phantom to entity. Advertisement. If you imagine a spaceship, a car, to some extent, they are all real, and they are all operable. However, the premise is to understand the principle. Otherwise, even if the phantom comes out, it will be just a shell, with no appearance. At most, it can only have the same material as its external structure. So, I still need to be a physicist, a mathematician, a chemist, a biologist, forcing me to read a lot of books, right? Thinking of learning so much knowledge, Aaron just felt that time was more and more insufficient. He can't take care of magic alone, and how can he spend time on other knowledge? Illusion magic should not be limited to this level. Illusions and illusions are false illusions. It is the imagination that limits it, not the so-called various principles. When this happens, there can only be one situation, and that is that the level is not enough. The magic level of LV5 cannot completely materialize one's own imagination. If you want to create entity as you like, you need to continue to improve. When I can disregard the so-called rules and materialize all kinds of unreasonable illusions, that is the real magic of materialization. No, maybe it should not be described as magic. This is no wild guess. The materialization process is similar to the process in which Green Lantern materializes the energy of the green light with will. When Green Lantern realized the imagination, how many people considered its principle? Today's materialized magic is similar to the ability of the green light ring. Advertisement. The objects made by the two have the functions of real objects, but their essence is still energy, not really a creation. At present, it seems that the ability of the green light ring surpasses the materialized magic after the phantom magic is upgraded, and there is also an iron shark has an energy source, providing endless energy. But in terms of potential, illusion magic is unlimited. Aaron is confident that he will surpass the green light, and the time needed will not be long. The illusion magic of LV5 is enough. It only needs to deal with one Amora. It doesn't need too advanced magic. In the next time, continue to improve the mind barrier and energy absorption. The point is to accumulate enough magic power, and if you have enough time, you can upgrade other magic. These magic levels may not be very high, but sometimes they can give people small surprises. Thinking of this, Aaron restrained his mind, entered the state of meditation, concentrated on running energy absorption, and constantly absorbed the magic energy absorption in the air. The proficiency of energy absorption continues to increase. A broken bar. Training ground. Since Fandral lost to Aaron in the sword-fighting duel, he only experienced a short period of confusion, but soon regained his confidence and spent more time on sword training. He is a master of swordsmanship, a genius of swordsmanship, and has never lost to others in the field of swordsmanship. This failure was attributed to slack by him. Because he couldn't find an opponent for a long time and was addicted to the gentleness of the beauty, he was surpassed by Aaron, who has been studying hard. Fandral doesn't think anyone can surpass himself in the ability of swordsmanship. Advertisement. And Aaron has now given up his warrior training and devoted himself to the ocean of magic. As long as I work hard enough, I believe that I will soon get rid of my shame. With this mentality, Fandral even turned down the invitation of Thor and others to the reception these days, and started a long training session. Seeing this, Thor and the others couldn't leave Aaron and Fandral to drink alone, so they could only start training with Fandral in the end. It wasn't until the arrival of Heimdall that the status quo changed. Father asked me to lead the army to quell the turmoil in Vanaheim. As soon as Thor finished listening, he shouted excitedly, "Guys, assemble quickly, we have something to do." Without waiting for other people to gather, he said again, "Heimdall, please go and inform Aaron, it's just the time to show off your talents. How can he be missing?" Thor, the God King, said a week later, "Don't forget." Heimdall nodded after giving instructions, then turned and left expressionlessly. During the whole process, there was no other expression because of Thor's identity. Because he is only loyal to the King of Asgard, or in other words, only to Odin. Neither Thor nor Loki can command him. Even when Thor asked him to help, he used the word trouble, and what he asked for did not affect his performance of duties. The reason for this phenomenon lies in his duty, which is to protect Asgard from enemies outside the kingdom. Once a mistake occurs, the consequences are unimaginable. Therefore, he is only responsible to Odin and his will. Chapter 27, The army goes out. Beheading action. A week is short or not, or long or not. For the Ezoprotos, it is only equivalent to the time that people on Earth sleep for less than one night, which can be said to be fleeting. Word spread that Thor was about to lead a team to quell the unrest in Vanaheim. Everyone is looking forward to their great prince leading the army, like Odin, to win Asgard's victory. And during this week, except for eating and necessary sleeping time, Aaron puts all his energy on improving ability. Even the Academy of Magic has never been to it. For this reason, Irene even ran to take a look, just worried that something was wrong with Aaron, because Amora also mysteriously disappeared in the past few days. But after discovering that Aaron has been fascinated by magic, he was relieved. As for the magician, he often forgets to eat and sleep because of learning a certain magic. Aaron was just getting started, and he was able to achieve this level, and he didn't slack off because of his own ability. On the contrary, he showed more terrifying perseverance and tenacity than ordinary magicians, and he was destined to become the strongest magician in the future. Aaron is confident about it. However, while Aaron's behavior made her happy, it also brought her endless pressure. Genius is not scary. As long as ordinary people work hard, there is still a glimmer of hope to catch up. However, if the other party is an evildoer, and works harder and harder than others, then it will make people despair. She, Irene, was barely considered a genius, a hard-working genius. But in front of Aaron, there is no comparison. You've become so strong in just one day. How terrifying is Aaron now? Irene left with a complicated expression. Advertisement. Ad in the room. Aaron opened his eyes and let out a long breath. It's over. With my current strength, defeating the former me can be said to be a piece of cake. Name apostrophe. Aaron. Life 1000 5000. Ability apostrophe. God rewards those who work hard. Skills. Energy absorption. Asgard meditation. LV6. 36,001 millionths. Fighting technique LV5. 2/100,000ths. Swordsmanship LV5. 2/100,000ths. Materialization magic. Phantom magic. LV5. 1/100,000th. Space storage LV4. 10/10,000ths. Spear LV4. 2/10,000ths. Mind barrier LV4. 2/10,000ths. Psychokinesis LV4. Energy explosion LV4. Attributes: Intelligence 3, Strength 4, Speed A3, Endurance 4, Energy Strength 4, Fighting Skill 6. Strength evaluation: Surface level, second-rate superhero. Since this training plan focused on improving the magical energy reserve, except for swordsmanship, fighting technique, and materialized magic, he didn't spend too much time practicing. In his plan, these 4 abilities will play a greater role. As for the rest, enough is enough. After this wave of strengthening, energy intensity and fighting skills are increased by 1 point. As for other values, they are still standing still. If you can get the magic that uses magic to strengthen the body, this situation can be improved. Not to mention becoming a hexagonal warrior, at least you can become a pentagonal warrior. Intelligence. There is no way to change it for a while. There was a look of helplessness in Aaron's eyes. His main energy right now is to improve his strength. Whether the intelligence is high or not is not an important issue. As long as the strength is strong enough, any conspiracy will be fragile. Advertisement. Ad for now, he hopes to get the magic of strengthening the body. Strength, speed, and endurance cannot be increased quickly by simple training. He's just an ordinary Asa. The potential of the body is there. Instead of trying to tap the meager potential, it's better to find a way to match Shazam and Black Adam. Use magic to strengthen your body and improve your strength in all aspects. In fact, Thor and Odin's physical fitness also comes from the inherited power of the God King, a special magic power. They are not mere fighters, but magic warriors. According to the characteristics of their respective divine powers, the directions of emphasis are also different. Thor's divine power endows him with great energy resistance, as well as raw physical qualities. In comparison, Hela's defensive power is much weaker, but her recovery power is extremely strong. As long as the energy source continues to replenish energy, she can quickly recover from injuries. Aaron speculates that this method of using magic to enhance physical fitness may only have a chance to be obtained from Odin. Even Frigga has never mastered it, and the group of magicians in KUMO-AUDIOBOOK, there is a high probability that they never have it. Otherwise, just relying on the magic power of the ancient gods obtained by alone, the magic Superman can be produced in batches. By the way, maybe Hela also has this kind of magic in her hands. After all, he is a ruthless person who can crush Mjolnir with one hand just after leaving the seal. Just the understanding of the hammer and the strength of her display, it is impossible to be so casual. Not to mention, she was still at her weakest state at that time, and only when she returned to Asgard was she at her peak. Aaron silently analyzed that if he couldn't get this kind of magic from Odin, he wouldn't mind making a deal with Hela. Leave these aside. It's time to test the power of materialization magic. This Vanaheim counterinsurgency is a rare opportunity. Advertisement. Heimdall had informed him of the military action, and Aaron was interested. What he lacks most at the moment is actual combat. Now that he has the opportunity to use another Protoss as a test object, why not do it? When Aaron came to the assembly point, thousands of Asgard's elite have been waiting for a long time. This army is waiting in unison at the end of Bifrost. With a single command, they can step onto Bifrost, then pass through the teleportation circle opened by Heimdall, and go directly to Vanaheim to decapitate the enemy's stronghold. This is the way Asgard is most proud of fighting. With the benefit of Bifrost, they were able to defeat the enemy many times. Anyone who opposes Asgard will worry about the safety of the base camp, because the warriors of Asgard may fall in front of them at any time. In front of the army is naturally a small group headed by Thor, Loki, the three warriors of Asgard, and Sif. They are the future king of Asgard and the future commander of the army of Asgard. Sif could also be the new diva. On how to stabilize the excessive Asgard power structure, Odin can be described as painstaking. Everything was prepared for Thor while he was still having fun all day. If nothing else, there will be no waves in Asgard after Thor becomes king. The upper, middle and lower levels can be tightly united, like an impenetrable wall, keeping the enemy out of the wall. Unfortunately, Odin is not omnipotent after all. Loki Hela is a flaw in the plan, and Ragnarok is destined to come. When the Eternal Surti raises the Twilight Sword, it will be the day of the end of Asgard. P.S. I got drunk today. 60 degrees of wine, and passed out all afternoon. People are dumbfounded. Chapter 28 Gambling. The army sets out. Hey, Aaron, you're missing, come up soon. After Aaron appeared, Thor on the white horse waved to him, pointing to the empty war horse beside him and said, "We have been waiting for you for so long, almost thinking that you are too timid to raise your spear to the enemy." Aaron turned over and rode on the horse, ignoring Loki's staring gaze, glanced at the time, and said angrily, "Before you speak next time, you'd better check the time first. There's still a while before the departure time. Who told you to arrive so early?" "Ha ha ha, isn't it because of excitement? I believe that every fighter is preparing for this day." Thor laughed and directed the horses to move forward, and the army started to move behind them. Asgard advocates primitive hand-to-hand combat, and even though it possesses magical technology far surpassing that of Earth, it rarely uses it in warfare. Most of the time, it is still like the ancient times on the Earth. Soldiers wearing battle armor and holding spears, charging the enemy. Even riding a horse is the privilege of the commander. In fact, Aaron wasn't even a soldier. Even with his strength, it would be easy to become a soldier, but before he took part in the assessment, he could only be a low-level civilian. In Asgard, almost every miner will participate in warrior training, and after completing the training, he will also participate in the warrior assessment. Those who pass can become a glorious warrior. Those who are extremely outstanding can join the Golden Hall Guards, that is, Odin's personal guards. They have an indestructible full-body armor and are responsible for guarding the palace. If you don't participate in the assessment, you won't even have the chance to go to the battlefield, let alone ride a horse and walk in front of the troops. But who is to say that Aaron is a member of Thor's small group? The privileged class exists everywhere. The moment Aaron rode on the horse, it can be said that he completely integrated into this circle, and to some extent he also got Odin's acquiescence. After all, Heimdall, who guards Bifrost, has no opinion. He is Odin's most loyal follower. Advertisement. Add Aaron, I heard that you have been retreating for 7 days this time. It seems that you have gained a lot. Loki asked meaningfully. Can you tell us more about it? He sees Aaron as his strongest competitor. This time when he heard that Aaron had been training hard at home for 7 days, he was in a hurry. It was rare for me to study seriously for a period of time with Frigga. When we meet now, I want to inquire about some information. It's a surprise, and you'll find out soon enough. Aaron played it off and didn't really say what he had gained. This kind of thing, regardless of whether it can be said or not, even if it is said, no one will believe it. In 7 days, several abilities have been raised to a level that ordinary people cannot achieve in a lifetime, and anyone who hears it will be fooled. Loki shifted his gaze resentfully upon hearing this. My fear of Aaron deepened. Although Aaron didn't say anything, he said everything. I believe the so-called surprise will be quite shocking. Damn it, am I really not as good as him? How much has it changed in a week? Loki thought about what he had gained in the past few days, and felt even more uncomfortable. Magic is not something that can be improved rapidly overnight. Wrong. Except this guy. Falk, is he really a magical monster? No one knew the idea of a Loki at the moment, but the conversation between the two attracted the attention of others. Advertisement. Ad Thor even joked, guys, how about we play a game? Since Aaron is so confident, let's have a competition and see who can beat the most and fastest. The loser will be responsible for all the expenses of this celebration banquet. Okay, I agree with this idea. Fandral was the first to agree, and at the same time raised his eyebrows at Aaron. Aaron, although I lost the sword fight last time, but this time, I will definitely not lose to you. Fandral thought very simply. Even though Aaron's sword skills are very high, he is still a novice who has not participated in any battles. No matter how powerful the swordsmanship is, it is impossible for him to have rich combat experience. The battlefield is not a game, and the enemy cannot give you a one-on-one chance. Even if Aaron has the ability, what can he do in 7 days? Is it possible to win the victory by transforming a few phantom duplications? That would be naive. He's seen duplication of Loki's phantasm, and besides being indistinguishable, he can easily hit 100 of them. Okay, if you lose, please help me drink the wine I owed last time. How could Aaron reject Fandral's door-to-door help? The conditions he promised to play with a few people last time have not been fulfilled. This time, I just took this opportunity to push it to Fandral. No problem, if you lose, it will be 2 meals. Fanders readily agreed. Will he lose? Advertisement. Ad certainly not. Loki rolled his eyes at Fandral, who was complacent, and laughed silently in his heart. Bet with Aaron? Even he didn't dare to answer easily. Fandral really had the courage. Are you a magician? Let me see how much stronger you have become. A group of people came to the Bifrost Center while talking and joking, without paying attention to the enemies they were about to face. Everyone is full of confidence in this battle. Heimdall, please. Thor greeted Heimdall. Heimdall nodded, and opened Bifrost with a guardian sword. Soon, a golden portal leading to Vanaheim appeared in front of them. For Asgard, Thor raised his hammer and shouted, stepping through the portal first. Thousands of Asgard warriors waved their spears one after another in agreement. The army marched through the portal, spanning countless light years, and came to another kingdom of gods, Vanaheim. And at the moment, the soldiers of the rebel base camp in Vanaheim were dumbfounded. They had just finished gathering when Asgard called. Is Asgard still alive? Unbeknownst to Thor and the others, when all the troops entered the portal, Odin also teleported to the Bifrost Center, and used magic to see everyone's actions in their eyes. He cared more about Thor than anyone else! Chapter 29. As for the fencing you agreed upon, you can directly clear the field. The arrival of Odin this time is to avoid possible changes, and to take action in time when problems arise. The second is to witness the beginning of Thor's journey to the throne. As long as Thor can successfully win this victory, he can publicize it and create a crown for him. Besides, he also wanted to see Aaron, son of Hero. Take a look at how outstanding this magical monster that can make both Irene and Frigga feel ashamed. The king of God, Thor, they just made a bet. Seeing Odin's arrival, Heimdall, who said little, immediately recounted what happened just now. After hearing this, Odin looked intently and said, who do you think will lose and who will win? Definitely Thor. He is the most valiant warrior in Asgard. He has perfectly inherited the power of your blood. No one can fight him except you. Heimdall replied without thinking. As for who will lose, Heimdall silently compared the others. The strength of Sif and the 3 warriors are between the same. Loki is the second prince. He is good at intrigue and magic. He has many tricks and good strength. It is impossible for him to lose. He is not the one who will suffer. And Aaron, a newcomer who has just joined Thor's group, it is said that he has just completed warrior training, and his strength and combat experience are quite different. So, I think it's Aaron. Advertisement. Heimdall was unaware of Aaron's reputation as a magical genius. Thanks to Odin's blessing, he doesn't even need to sleep, and he can maintain energy for a long time to guard Bifrost, watch the 9 realms and beyond, and keep enemies from outside. Therefore, he rarely leaves Bifrost, nor does he know that Aaron has become the focus of many people's leisure time discussions. After all, a newcomer who has a very good relationship with Prince Thor and whose magic ability is far beyond ordinary people has too many topics worthy of gossip. Odin is non-committal. He endorses Heimdall's first answer, but has reservations about the second. If Aaron is really as evil as Frigga said, maybe it will surprise others as he said. He was quite curious about how big this surprise was. A broken bar. Warnerham. In this beheading operation, Asgard only dispatched less than 2,000 people because the rebels are only a small part of the Warner Protoss and there is no strong person inside, so there is no need to go to war. As for Asgard, the leader is Thor, who has inherited the power of the God King, and one person is worth thousands of elite Protoss. Coupled with the beheading operation, Odin dared to let Thor attack. He believes that as long as nothing happens, Thor will bring back victory. But sometimes, the result is right, but the process has gone wrong. When the rebels, seeing the multitudes of the Asgardians approaching, panicked, advertisement. Thor was excited and ready to rush up and deal a heavy blow to the enemy. However, it was not Thor, nor Sif and others who attacked first, but Aaron. I saw Aaron open his hand from a long distance, waved it lightly, and immediately transformed into hundreds of Aaron duplications, densely occupying the front view, blocking the way of Thor and others to charge, and swarming towards the enemy at the same time. Every duplication here has a slightly inferior physical fitness. They hold long swords and engage in close combat with rebel soldiers. Compared with the 3 warriors of Asgard, Aaron's physical fitness is a little bit worse, but it is not worse than other fighters. As for these duplications, although they are incomplete entity duplications made by magic, they suffer a bit in terms of strength, but their sword skills up to LV5 and almost full value fighting skills allow them to defeat the enemy very easily. In just a short period of time, the duplication transformed by Aaron has already wiped out the enemies in front of him. The others stood there in a daze for a long time. Aaron, you're cheating. Thor was very unconvinced, and Aaron blocked his way with duplication, preventing him from making any shots. In addition, he was in shock, and when he came back to his senses, there were no enemies in front of him as far as he could see. He came to kill the enemy, not to watch a show. Play it. Sif and others also quickly opened their mouths to denounce. How can there be such a game of fighting? Everyone came here excitedly, thinking of showing off their talents, but this is the result. If you don't call out to say hello, you will directly clear the field, and all the enemies in front of you will be gone. It's so annoying. However, just after they denounced it, they found that after Aaron's duplication had dealt with the enemies in front, it started to move to the 2 sides again, as if to wipe out the enemies in one go. Advertisement. Thor suddenly became anxious, and flew aside in a hurry, ignoring the condemnation. Oh wait, leave the person on the left to me, stop. The others looked at each other in blank dismay, and Fandral gripped the long sword tightly with a bitter expression on his face. In this match, he lost, completely and without temper. Aaron has cleared at least a quarter of the enemies before he's even near them, so what's next? He's not Thor, and he's not Aaron, just an unremarkable warrior with a long sword. No matter how good the sword skill is, it is impossible to turn the tables. I'd better lie down. I'll lie down. Something is wrong. These people's swordsmanship. Why do you feel better than me? Fandral noticed one thing at this time. How could all these Aaron duplications be so good at fighting? Loki feels similarly. Why are these duplications so powerful? What about the Phantom? He is very clear about this. Even if the Phantom duplication has a little combat power, it is only a little bit. It is barely enough to deceive people. If you want to defeat the enemy, it is impossible. Are we really learning the same magic? Could it be that I learned it wrong? No way. Chapter 30 Tangled Odin. Loki is in deep doubt. It is also illusion magic. Why is the gap so big? Even Irene and Frigg could not achieve this level. And this time, Loki was horrified to find that even if he put all his energy into it, he still couldn't tell the truth from the fake. As if every duplication is Aaron. It doesn't matter whether it's true or false. It doesn't matter whether it's true or false, because each of them can take a person's life in the next second. It turns out that phantom magic is so powerful when it is practiced to its peak. It seems that I have to hurry up and study. Loki thought to himself, if he had this level of duplication, no one would be able to see through him. The most important thing is that the life-saving ability has been greatly increased. In case of any danger in the future, You can escape by creating another self and feigning death. It is simply a life-saving skill. As a god of intrigue, he takes his own life very seriously. Before each action, a way to retreat after failure is prepared. That's why Loki is safe every time, unless something happens that he doesn't expect or doesn't want to retreat. That's it. I will learn the illusion after I go back. Since Eren can do this so quickly, I shouldn't be too bad, right? Loki summoned 2 daggers, and he hadn't forgotten the bet. Needless to say, the winner of this battle, but the loser has not yet appeared, and he does not want to spend money to pay for the celebration banquet. What's more, the biggest winner this time is Eren, the biggest competitor in his heart, and spending money to celebrate an opponent is not a wonderful thing. Just as Loki was passing, dozens of identical daggers whizzed past him, flying towards the enemy in that direction. Advertisement. What? Who stole my limelight? As soon as Loki looked back, Eren nodded at him and smiled. Noticing the same movement of the other party and himself, he felt a deep malice. There was also a wave of panic. Psychokinesis learned? Could it be that Amara handed it over? It seems that he is more skilled than me. People are split. Loki retracted the dagger silently. He didn't want to make a fool of himself. Before, he thought it was cool to control a dagger, but now, he already wants to stop using psychokinesis in the future, at least not where Eren is present. Then, the whole person disappeared in place. Stealth magic. Eren's eyes lit up. He has long coveted invisibility magic. Now that your strength is also on the rise, do you want to find a chance to chat with Loki, and get some needed magic first? Maybe you can use Loki to get infinite gems or casket of ancient winters in the future. Although Loki's level of magic is not high, it is better in all aspects. There are many good things in his hand. There is so much magic that Eren desperately needs. Considering that there is a gap in strength between the two sides, it is easy to be calculated by the other side. Well, now that he has power far above Loki, his biggest fear is gone, and he can plan further. Advertisement. I'd go to Amara first when you go back, and then go to Loki if you can't. As long as you plan properly, it's not a big problem. Loki is a smart guy, and dealing with smart people is easy. And thanks to his understanding before time travel, he knew how weak Loki was under that glamorous surface. He also has too much of what Loki wants. Besides, Eren wouldn't mind making a deal with Loki, such as making him king of Asgard. For that position, Loki is definitely looking forward to it. He believes that if he sits on the throne, he will definitely be able to do better than Thor. But Odin never considered him. Everything was arranged for Thor. Loki has no helpers and no supporters. If there is a talented and powerful magician who supports him at this time, it will definitely be a super help. Magic is nothing in comparison. The title of the #1 magician in the 9 realms is not as loud as the Lord of the 9 realms. Looking at this aspect alone, the two can be said to be excellent allies. The goals of the two parties do not conflict at all. Eren only cares about collecting magic and improving strength. Power is an accessory to strength. When the strength reaches a certain level in the future, what is the mere 9 realms? It's just a tubob who lives in a corner. And Loki doesn't care about magic and strength. He only cares about the throne, or just wants to prove to others that he is better than Thor. But, thinking so, Eren didn't want to find Loki so soon. Now is not the time to stand in line. He is sure that as long as he shows that he is too close to Loki, he will not want to learn more esoteric magic in the future, and he may even be suppressed. Odin would not allow anyone to threaten Thor's position at this moment. A single Loki does not have that ability, and if Eren is added, it will be hard to say. Monsters can never be judged by common sense. Thinking of this, Eren also felt a headache. He has mixed feelings about Odin. Although the opponent indirectly blocked his plan to improve his strength crazily, it did provide a relatively peaceful environment for the growth of newbies. Advertisement. During this period, Asgard still has the power to shock many civilizations in the galaxy, and it is the most enviable peaceful holy land in the hearts of all those who have suffered. Although Asgard seems to be on the verge of recession, it is not far from being destroyed, and it will be ravaged by multiple forces in turn. But before the official opening of the Avengers Alliance, Asgard had a great reputation throughout the galaxy. When other civilizations in the galaxy were devastated by the Kree Empire and Thanos, only the 9 realms managed by Asgard remained peaceful. It's all about Odin sitting in charge. Eren is still grateful to Odin, but that's about it. Odin would not be indifferent to his actions just because of his gratitude. At the moment, Bifrost Hub. Odin, who has been observing the battle situation, laments that the magic is worthy of its name, but also has a headache for the subsequent publicity. Aaron's surprise was too big. There is no doubt that the biggest winner of this battle is Aaron, who is the biggest hero. Thor's performance is far worse than the other side. Although the battle was won, new problems arose. This Thor solo show turned into a special show for Aaron. There are thousands of people watching at the same time. The name of Aaron's genius is destined to be recognized by everyone, and Thor was trampled underfoot. So, do you want to advertise? If you can't pave the way for Thor, what's the need for publicity? Aaron, you've given me a problem. Odin was lost in thought. Chapter 31, Happiness based on the pain of others. Aaron's performance is quite amazing, very exciting. Odin is also a master magician, and an all-around one at that. Just what the movie shows. There is no need for Bifrost to open intergalaxy teleportation. A spell seals Thor's divine power, endows others with powerful physical fitness or dark energy transmission, creates a Mephisto device, and creates a sealed place that can imprison Hela, etc. Each ability does not look gorgeous, but it contains extremely difficult magic levels. He sees Loki's magic has a small means to bind Thor's divine power at his fingertips. His magical attainments are so high that it can be said to be unfathomable. But even he couldn't help but sigh after seeing Aaron's vision magic, because even he is not as good as Aaron in illusion magic. He could tell that Aaron was definitely the number one in the 9 realms in this magic. And Aaron is just an apprentice who has just learned magic for a week. This kind of ability is not an exaggeration to describe it as a monster. Moreover, he is also the son of heroes. One of Thor's small group belonged to the real one. Even if the other party disrupted his plan unintentionally this time, he can't be blamed. After all, as far as he and Frigga know about Thor's plan, Heimdall counts as half of it, so there is no possibility of it being leaked. Odin would not doubt Heimdall's loyalty, otherwise he would not have given him the duty to guard Bifrost. This is the most important position in Asgard. Only an absolute confidant can give this job. God King Aaron this. Heimdall couldn't believe it all. He actually had a day when he was blind. He is a genius and a monster. To be honest, even I am surprised. For him, don't look at him with previous concepts. Advertisement. Odin gave a rare sigh. Heimdall couldn't help but glance sideways. The great king of God has such a high opinion of a newcomer. It's rare to happen once in 1,000 years. This time, Heimdall paid more attention to Aaron. What Odin can praise, the future is bound to be bright. Maybe the two will still be colleagues in the future, assisting Thor together to protect the peace of Asgard and the 9 realms. At the same time, the battle for Vanaheim isn't over yet. Faced with the double blow of Aaron and Thor, the rebels simply cannot resist. In addition, there are more than 1,000 Asgard troops led by the powerful 3 Asgard warriors and Loki and others. The balance of victory has been slowly tipped. At this point, the battle has come to an end. However, from behind the battlefield, a burst of cheers suddenly came to mind. Several tall stone men came over. They are almost twice the height of the others. Arms thicker than thighs were covered with leather armor. Holding a mace in his hand, he stepped into the battlefield accompanied by a slight earthquake. After seeing the tall stone man, the two sides in the melee stopped fighting one after another, and then handed over the battlefield to their respective bosses tacitly. This is the consensus formed by the two ethnic groups for thousands of years. The outcome of the battle is not determined by the bottom soldiers, but by the strong. In local battles, soldiers can still play a certain role, but once the strong players from both sides enter the arena, a ceremony similar to that of fighting generals will be carried out. And until now, the rebels in Vanaheim have actually become timid. Advertisement. The appearance of the stone man at this moment also made them feel a little lucky. Hey, there are still a few stone titans. Thor swung his hammer and flew up close to study the opponent. At this time Aaron also approached with duplication. The people in Vanaheim saw the two of them, especially Aaron, with a look of fear on their faces. If it weren't for Aaron's existence, they wouldn't have been defeated so quickly even in the face of Asgard's raid. Aaron, is this illusion magic? How could they also know your superb swordsmanship? Fandral and the others also came over, looking at the entity duplication curiously. Sif even poked a duplication with her hand. The touch was so real, it was hard to imagine that it was actually an illusion. This is the surprise I told you. My illusion magic has improved again, Aaron said palely. Fortunately, I spent most of this week meditating to absorb magic power, otherwise I really couldn't maintain so many duplications. Before changing, at most dozens of them can be maintained at the same time. And these duplications are not perfect. The real full-body duplication can use magic. It's just that Aaron's magic power is still low, and it is the limit to divide hundreds of them. So how can there be extra magic power distributed to them, so that they can use magic to fight? But even so, it is enough to deal with a group of Warner soldiers who are the strongest but ordinary Asgard fighters. But now, when the golem appears, there is no need to maintain duplication. Aaron snapped his fingers, and hundreds of duplications dissipated simultaneously. Energy absorption. Aaron took a deep breath, and the energy scattered after the materialization duplication did not disappear, but was pulled into Aaron's body by an inexplicable suction force. This is part of the LV6 energy absorption ability, which can swallow all unowned energy within a certain range. Definitely, it is naturally impossible for this kind of absorption to return to its peak state before using magic, because energy is consumed all the time during use. Advertisement. Ad. Objects made by materialization magic have a time limit, and when the energy is not enough to maintain its state, it will be automatically disarmed. However, even so, it can make up for the shortcoming of insufficient battery life to a certain extent. At least after the magic is lifted, there is still a considerable amount of magical energy reserves. Surprise? I hope this kind of surprise is less. I feel only surprised but not happy. Loki, who walked over at the moment, retorted silently in his heart. A pair of eyes kept moving around Aaron. He felt that since Aaron learned magic, everyone's eyes were attracted to him again. If it weren't for the fear of Aaron's magical attainments, maybe he would find a way to play tricks on the other party with magic. Surprise, indeed a surprise. Fandral smiled and shook his head. He gave up. Let go of the idea of AA competing with Aaron. I thought that after Aaron went to learn magic, he would learn swordsmanship, but he didn't expect that the current self can't even match the opponent's duplication's swordsmanship. And this is the result of the opponent spending more time after magic. There is no comparison at all. Therefore, Fandral let go of his worries after the performance. Since he couldn't compare, then he couldn't compare. Anyway, Aaron is a magician, playing magic rather than swordsmanship. It's the group of magicians who should have the headache. Well, say Loki. Fandral glanced at Loki quietly, taking a full view of Loki's depression, and his heart suddenly became happy. What could be happier than watching Loki suffer? Chapter 32 Energy Duplication Explosion Magic. Fanda, don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Rather than thinking about it, why not think about how to improve your swordsmanship, a majestic swordsmanship master? That's it. Loki glared at Fandral angrily and sarcastically. It doesn't matter whether I am a master of swordsmanship or not. At least someone who proclaims himself the #1 magician in the 9 realms has a lot of moisture. The phantom magic he casts is not as good as a person who has studied for a week, and my swordsmanship lasted for 1,000 years before being recognized. Human surpasses. Fandral mocked, not to be outdone. HMPH. The #1 magician in the 9 realms can only be mine. Isn't it illusion magic? What I know is not comparable to illusion magic. Loki's tone was sour. Damn it, why is my heart still so unhappy? The gap between Aaron and the magic he knows is getting smaller and smaller. Sooner or later, his original advantages will completely disappear. The mutual sarcasm between the two did not affect the battlefield. According to common sense, Asgard should be shot by Thor at this time, because Stone Titan's strength is not bad. Even if it is the 3 warriors of Asgard who want to win one-on-one, it will take a certain amount of effort. Not to mention that there is more than one Stone Titan at the moment. Don't look at the ice magic of the Frost Titan, and the lava of the Flame Titan, but in terms of power alone, their strength is the most terrifying. After Thor looked at him for a while, he was ready to step forward to teach him a lesson without fear. However, someone was faster than him. Aaron waved his hand and materialized several duplications. This time, they all held long spears and charged towards the Stone Titan. Thor turned back and complained, Aaron, you've taken care of so many people, you should give these big guys to me. Advertisement. Add then ... leave one for you. Thor rolled his eyes. Seeing that several duplications really gave up a Stone Titan, Thor was speechless. He also wants to fight. This is the first time he has played against Sheet Titan. How could he miss it? But since Aaron was on the battlefield for the first time and he was his good friend, he just shrugged. Here we go. Mjolnir. Accompanied by a thunderclap, Thor used Mjolnir's power to fly to the Stone Titan with a whoosh, and hit the head with a blow. The Stone Titan was broken into stone piles by its violent human power in a destructive posture. At this moment, Thor's power is undoubtedly revealed. It seems that Thor is just doing a warm-up. On the other hand, the situation of Aaron duplication is not optimistic. Stone Titan's defense and strength are top-notch, but its biggest flaw is agility and IQ. Even though Aaron duplication is holding an artifact made of airy metal, each blow can poke a hole in his body, and the debris is flying. But compared to their huge amounts of body, these are not fatal injuries. It just made them angrier. Advertisement. Aaron's physical strength was still too weak. Even if he plays in person, It's not much better than physical duplication. Compared with a person of Thor's level, I'm afraid he can't pull the other's arm even if he twists his whole body. This is the difference in strength between ordinary Asgardians and members of the royal family. Whether it is energy or physical fitness, they are all different. Even if he trains hard all his life, he is still a child in front of Thor, who is only 1,500 years old. This is why Aaron gave up the warrior and turned to study magic. Even if he maximized his skills, it would be difficult to make up for the gap in physical strength. Seeing this, Thor was eager to try, and said, "Aaron, leave it to me, your duplication can't solve them, you can do it yourself." "Well, I'll leave one for you, and leave the others to me." Aaron refused without thinking. "No need." Energy explosion. Boom! Exclamation mark. The moment the words fell, the Aaron duplications in the center of the battlefield cast an energy explosion magic as high as LV4 at the same time. The violent energy swept around. In one breath, several stone titans were torn apart by this force. The billowing smoke and dust lingered for a long time. Advertisement. And when the smoke dissipated, everyone took a deep breath. I saw several large pits several meters deep in the place where the battle was fought just now. As for the stone titan, it was already smashed to pieces in the explosion. Duplication can also use magic. This power is more terrifying than my energy explosion. Loki was taken aback. He has never paid attention to energy explosion magic, and has always been in the initial stage. After all, this kind of tasteless magic that consumes so much magic power and is so powerful that it can't even kill people is really difficult to be elegant. However, now, the magic that everyone despises falls into the hands of Aaron. But it shows amazing power. This kind of power is enough to cause mass destruction to the enemy. Moreover, it is Aaron's duplication that releases the magic. How powerful is it if it is used by Aaron himself? How about I try the energy explosion too? Loki was a little greedy. It only takes a few phantom duplications combined with energy explosions to have such power. Much stronger than his use of invisibility and duplication. Who wouldn't be envious? And it seems that Aaron is in good condition, and I am afraid that he has not spent much mana. Great deal! Exclamation mark, comma. Chapter 33, The Glorious Aaron. Loki is crazy envious. Unbeknownst to Loki, however, the consumption of mana by energy blast magic is quite exaggerated. Only Aaron has energy absorption, which can recover energy to the maximum, and it doesn't seem to consume much. For other people, it can only be a trick of killing 1,000 enemies and self-defeating 800. If you don't kill your opponent, you will also lose your fighting power. That is to say, Stone Titan is not a very strong opponent. Otherwise, the energy explosion of duplication alone cannot solve the battle. In the final analysis, there is still too little time. Even if my energy absorbing efficiency is extremely high, I cannot improve to the level of Odin in a short time. Otherwise, you won't be able to deal with a few Stone Titans, so you have to use this extreme tactic. Aaron wasn't happy with the course of the fight. Duplication plus energy explosion is very good to use, but unfortunately it is a great challenge to mana consumption. If you can know some principles, you can use materialization magic and use magic to create powerful weapons, instead of simply consuming magic power to cause an explosion. Aaron, your magic is good, but it's a good thing Loki doesn't know how to do it, otherwise I wouldn't feel well. Thor praised sincerely. If Loki has this level of phantom duplication, combined with invisibility and energy explosion, it can be completely unpredictable. He couldn't perceive the reality of the Loki duplication, and was bound to be disfigured by the explosion. Definitely, that's about it at most. Thor's resistance to energy is much stronger than physical resistance. Even the energy impact of a neutron star can withstand it for a period of time. Other energy beam attacks, apart from hindering their actions, can hardly cause any damage. Moves like energy blasts are not as damaging to him as Loki's knife, which doesn't necessarily do much damage, but at least it can make him see blood. So, Aaron just rolled his eyes at Thor's compliment. But at this time, with the death of Sheet Titan, the battle was completely over. The rebels in Vanaheim put down their weapons one after another, letting the Asgards push them away. Even if the remaining army of at the moment still has the upper hand, the lack of combat power at the top prevents them from resisting. Thank you, Thor, Aaron, for saving my hometown. Advertisement. Ad Hogan stepped forward and said gratefully, "It's okay, you are our friend, and we should help you." And the Warner Protoss has always been an ally of Asgard. It was before, it is now, and it will be in the future. We will never sit idly by, Thor said with a laugh. Aaron just nodded, agreeing. His current thoughts are more focused on Amora. After returning, the search for the Holy Spring must be put on the agenda. The matter of magical energy cannot be delayed again and again. A day passed. The rebels in Vanaheim were completely imprisoned. and Asgard also left some troops to assist in guarding. The rest returned to Asgard via Bifrost. After Eren returned, he began to meditate to recover his magic power. While Eren was training hard, Odin finally advertised the fight. Because there are thousands of people participating in this battle, it is impossible to hide it, and there is no need to hide it. In Odin's view, Eren is his own person and Thor's right-hand man. The more famous he is, the better it is for Thor's rule. Although it is impossible to create a crown of glory for Thor this time, there are still many opportunities in the future. Not this time, there will be a next time. Asgard's secret enemies are not limited to Vanaheim's small poke at the rebels. The Frost Titan of Jotunheim and the Flame Titan of Muspelheim are still lurking in the dark. To become a real king, no matter how much his military exploits had to include the other two kingdoms. How can the people feel at ease if there is no record of fighting and winning the two major Titan races? Odin isn't worried that Thor won't be able to defeat the other two Titans. Frost Titan's Lorf is like a tiger with its teeth pulled out without casket of ancient winters, nothing to worry about. As for the Flame Titan Surti, the same is true. Although he is older than Odin and Lorf, since losing the eternal fire, his strength has been in an extremely weak stage for thousands of years. Not much better than Lorf. With Thor's strength, it is more than enough to deal with them. Advertisement. As long as Thor doesn't recklessly go alone, nothing will happen. But with Thor's character, Odin frowned and remained silent for a long time. It's time to take a chance on Thor. The king of Asgard must not be so reckless. A broken bar. This day, Asgard ushered in carnival time. Their beloved son of Odin, Thor, led the army to successfully defeat the Vanaheim rebels. It is said that there is still the shadow of the Stone Titan in that battle. However, it was finally defeated by the warriors of Asgard. It's a magnificent victory. It also indicates that Asgard is still as strong as ever. They are invincible. Fermentation over time. Everyone also knew another name from the war participants. Eren Manningsson, the son of a hero, outshines even Thor on the battlefield. Single-handedly routed thousands of mighty Vanaheims, as well as many Stone Titans. His powerful magic level, proficient fighting skills, and exaggerated record than Thor quickly attracted the attention of a large number of people. Everyone is talking about Eren, especially when it was known from several magic apprentices that Eren was just newcomer to magic, and on the first day of learning, he showed a magic ability that amazed even the teacher, and the discussion became more and more heated. Moreover, there are rumors that Eren defeated the famous swordmaster Fandral in swordsmanship, and resisted the charm of Amora in magic. In this regard, Van Dahl has never refuted in the major conferences. He even voluntarily admitted the matter after a certain drunkenness. As a result, Eren's fame grew and was discussed more exaggeratedly than Thor and everyone else combined. Even inadvertently, there is a group of followers and admirers. Advertisement. A magic genius and a master of swordsmanship are always so exciting. When the speed of the routine was getting bigger and bigger, only two people were very unhappy about it. One is Amora, the trampled object in this discussion. It started off fine. Few believed Eren could beat Fandral and Amora. But after Fandral voluntarily admitted that his sword skills were inferior to Eren, Amora's troubles came. People who used to fear her like a tiger. Recently many women came to her to confirm the authenticity of this matter. While Amora was angry, she had to hide. No way, her spiritual charm is far less easy for women than for men. At the same time, she was also working on psychic charm like crazy, trying to punish Eren in a small way the next time she met. This time, she was ashamed. Because she always avoids talking about it, the outside world has acquiesced in the authenticity of Amora's failure to charm Eren. Her reputation as Amora is completely gone. The other person is Loki. For Eren's recent attention, he was so jealous that he even turned down the reception. In the past, Thor's reputation was higher than him as it should be, and he could barely accept it. After all, Thor's strength is indeed very strong. But what about Eren? A junior who has just learned magic, unexpectedly made such a great contribution not long after learning magic, and has been discussed and admired by the entire Asgard people. This is the treatment he has dreamed of for thousands of years. However, it was so easily obtained by Eren. However, he, who also cultivated both magic and martial arts, was in a completely opposite situation, and he was still a foil to other people. It's nothing more than a foil. The key is that there are more and more people to accompany, and one of them is a junior. How can this not make people envious and jealous? The more Loki thought about it, the more unhappy he became, and the more he thought about it, the more unfair he became. Angrily, she approached Frigg in anger. He also wants to be as glorious as Eren, even surpassing Thor. P.S. I wish you all a happy new year. Chapter 34, Sister, Here I Come Again. When Loki found Frigga and asked him how to combine energy explosion and duplication, Frigg replied simply, impossible. Loki, Aaron's ability is not something you or I can catch up to. Whether it is duplication or energy explosion, to reach his level requires extremely high magical attainments. Even I can't create a duplication that can cast high difficulty magic. His duplication is no longer an illusion. It can even be said to be an individual with magical energy, except that consciousness is still controlled by Aaron originally. It is no different from ordinary people. I think you should be very clear about the difficulty of this level of illusion magic. In fact, the phantom magic he knows is no longer the magic you and I know. Moreover, the energy explosion is a great burden on our original magic energy, let alone using duplication. That's unrealistic. Frigga understands Loki's urgency very well. After all, it is really hard to accept being surpassed by a rookie who is talented in learning magic in a week. However, the person who surpassed them was a magic monster who was rarely seen in thousands of years. The two sides are not comparable at all. Just like illusion magic, Aaron's current illusion and the illusion taught at the beginning can be said to be two magics. The original spells taught were just illusions, and Aaron's illusion spells were more like advancements. In a week, he not only completed the study and mastery of phantom magic, but also improved phantom magic into another stronger and weirder magic. Aaron is just too scary. Moreover, even the energy explosion magic has been strengthened. Anyway, Frigga thinks that it is impossible to be as relaxed and casual as Aaron. Advertisement. Even she can create even stronger explosive power. But it is completely worth the candle. Mother, but I saw with my own eyes that Aaron used multiple duplications to use energy explosions, causing quite objective damage. Those stone titans in the center of the battlefield were instantly shattered. And I don't see much wear and tear on Aaron. It's as if we've performed a shape-shifting spell. Loki is puzzled. He also understood what Frigga meant, but the reality brought him too many doubts. Why can Aaron use hundreds of energy entity duplications with good combat effectiveness at the same time? Why can he use duplication to use energy explosion without pressure? Why did he still have a lot of magic power after casting large-scale magic many times? You know, in terms of mana reserves, Loki has always been far superior to his peers. His magical energy even surpassed Frigga. This is why he is called a magical genius. It is even vaguely known as the strongest magician. Although his level of magic is not high, Keshing has enough magic, and the magic energy is huge enough, which makes him have a very high valuation among the magicians. Loki, do you really think Aaron uses the same meditation technique as us? What Irene taught him is indeed the same as ours, but that doesn't mean Aaron can't improve on it. His magic power accumulation speed is far beyond what we can compare. Frigg silently added a sentence including Loki. Advertisement. Loki is of Frost Titan royal bloodline, even if Frost Titan Lof's performance is too weak. But he is the king of the family anyway. Far from being comparable to ordinary Protoss. Although Frigga is a queen of heaven, she is still a famous witch of the Vanir Protoss, but she is not a descendant of the royal family, nor does she have strong magical attainments. In fact, since she married Odin and settled in the Golden Hall, Frigga gradually let go of her magic and devoted herself to raising children and assisting Odin in managing the 9 realms. Therefore, although Frigga's magic hair level is high, it is difficult to continue to improve for a long time, and it may even weaken. What? He actually improved his magic? Could it be that his ability is so powerful? Does such a person really exist? Loki fell silent. He didn't want to believe that Aaron existed, but the reality was right in front of him. The opponent's true head-to-head strength is likely to surpass his own. Even if the magic he knows still has an absolute advantage, the level of a single magic is like a sky underground, and there is no comparison. Is it true that I can't catch up with him? The title of the #1 magician in the 9 realms is about to change hands. Loki looked complicated. He didn't care about the name of magician before, because he was more like a warrior to get everyone's recognition and attention, and he has no rivals in magic. But now, Aaron appeared. The magical ability he showed directly hit everyone. Even Frigg had to bow down. Loki, don't compare magic with Aaron, it's pointless. Advertisement. You're a genius, but Aaron is a monster. If you can let go of the mentality of competing with him, you will still be a powerful magician in the 9 realms. Frigga persuaded with earnestness. It's just that I don't know how much Loki listened to. The other side. Aaron is finally back to his prime. Abundant magic power freely circulates in the body. He also knew what had happened in Asgard these days. He became famous by himself, and his reputation once overwhelmed Thor, becoming the most admired object of the year. This caused Aaron quite a problem. For example, when you go out to find Amara, you must be careful to avoid fanatical admirers. Although Asgard is a Protoss, it is no different from ordinary people in many ways. Like ordinary Earthlings, they have emotions, and definitely have fans. In order to avoid them, Aaron was even forced to use materialized duplication to attract most of the people. He himself went to search for Amora. At the moment, Amora is painstakingly studying mind charm magic, and the hard work of the past few days has allowed her to complete a small breakthrough. Small as the breakthrough was, it was actually far more terrifying. Amora is confident that the current self can control the previous Aaron. It's time for revenge. Aaron, are you ready? Sister, I'm here again! Chapter 35 A Showdown to Amora. The real Aaron! Amora, here I come. Just when Amora was about to go out to find Aaron's bad luck, in order to wash away the shame of being slandered by gossip for so many days, a loud voice came from outside the door. It's him, Aaron. Well, I haven't looked for you yet, but you have come to your door yourself. Let's see who can help you this time. Amora was taken aback for a moment, and then was shocked by huge amounts of surprise. What could be more exciting than the prey itself delivered to your door? Last time, she was afraid to do it because she was worried that Irene would call someone. Facts have proved that her guess was correct. Irene not only called someone, but also called the Queen. But that time, she failed to charm Aaron. Instead, he beat himself to pieces. In the end, he could only leave in embarrassment. I doubted myself for days. And recently, someone exposed that humiliating experience. Everyone knew that they had shot Aaron and failed. She, the enchantress, really became a joker and was ridiculed all the time. However, starting today, everything will change. Her spiritual charm magic attainment has broken through. The good life is coming. Advertisement. Ad. Thinking again of successfully controlling Aaron, turning him into his own exclusive legendary magician, and then living a beautiful life in Asgard and even the 9 realms, Amora swept away the previous depression and smiled. Yo, isn't this our little genius Aaron? Didn't you still call her sister Amora before? Why are you calling her by her name now? It seems that we haven't seen each other for a few days, and our relationship is really a lot stranger. Could it be that because he became the big hero and big shot of Asgard, he doesn't look down on his little teacher? It's really sad. Amora pretended to be sad, and said softly. In the words, Amora inadvertently used the power of charm. If it were an ordinary person, she would be charmed by her soft words and lose self-awareness. Aaron, however, is completely immune. The mental barrier after the upgrade doesn't need him to actively use it. It can run directly on its own. Once the power of the mind penetrates, it will cause the self-defense mechanism to resist. That is to say, even if a spiritual master tries to sneak attack, it cannot pose a threat to Aaron, unless it is forced to break through the defense with a huge mind ability. But those who can do that are definitely strong. Clearly, Amora is not at that level yet. Amora, don't pretend. Don't you think this is very tiring? This time, Aaron didn't continue to act, and directly confronted the opponent. Do what you want to do directly. When you are done, I happen to have something to ask you. Facing the completely opposite face of Aaron, Amora obviously didn't react, and just stood there for a long time. It took a while for Amora to realize what Aaron said, and she changed her teasing look, and became serious. Advertisement. Ad. She frowned slightly, and looked at Aaron carefully, with a bit of surprise in her tone. Aaron Manningson, allow me to call you that. You are beyond me. Oh no. It should be beyond everyone's expectations. I didn't expect that the evildoer who is so obsessed with magic and seems to have only magic in his mind has another side. This is the real you, a monster who wears a disguise on the surface, but knows everything in his heart. Since you know my plan, you still dare to seduce me, or even come to my door. Are you not afraid that I will really control you? At that time, no matter what plan you have, it will be known to me and become nothing. Having said that, Amora's heart skipped a beat. She only felt that she had fallen into a terrifying conspiracy. Aaron, who once seemed ignorant, actually hides so deeply. Maybe, even Irene and even Thor didn't know about it. But now, the other party actually stopped acting in front of him. Does that mean that the other party has determined himself? Amora wanted to escape. The unprecedented sense of crisis made her eager to escape from here. But in the end she suppressed her fear. Amora is confident that she will be fine. Even if mind charm magic doesn't work, how can a magician who has only learned it for a week defeat or even catch himself? So what if the opponent is a hero? A magician has never used force to show off his strength. She is not a few clumsy stone people, nor is it a group of barbarians who have nothing but cold weapons. Advertisement. Ad. Aaron smiled slightly and began to approach Amora slowly. How do you know if you don't try? I sent it to my door myself. Come on. Amora hinted in her heart that she was not afraid, but when Aaron really started to approach, he took 2 steps back uncontrollably. Aaron continued smiling. Seeing that it was getting closer, Amora quickly cast charm magic. However, when she tried to control the other party's consciousness, she found that the previous spiritual barrier was even more indestructible. Before, She could barely shake its defense, but now, it was like bumping into the Aru shield, unable to cause the slightest damage. Damn, what a monster. Even that old Odin can't resist my charm so easily, can he? Seeing this, Amara couldn't help but spit again. While complaining, she kept moving, and the whole person rose into the air and floated outwards. Amara, could it be that you have forgotten that you taught me my psychokinesis? Eren calmly clasped one hand, and the invisible psychokinesis turned into a big hand, dragging Amara down from the sky. The other hand controls more than a dozen daggers, blocking the space around Amara, preventing him from escaping. Eren, don't underestimate me. I'm not just a charmer. Amara quickly waved her hand to summon a protective shield. A new defensive magic. New magic that not even Loki has ever used. As soon as the energy shield came out, it isolated psychokinesis, and even barely blocked the dagger attack. Definitely, it's just barely. Eren did not use psychokinesis at full capacity, but increased the intensity little by little, testing the strength of the energy shield. He is very interested in this magic. Chapter 36 The Power of the Illusion. Amara surrenders. As far as Eren knew, defensive magic was fairly rare in Asgard. This may have something to do with Asgard's body constitution and Aru metal. The physical fitness of the Asgardians is considered top-notch in the Milky Way. As for Alu metal, there is not much to say. Thor's defense is strong enough, right? Wasn't he stabbed by Loki's knife? Is the cursed warrior strong enough? He raised his hand and knocked Mjolnir, who was powerless even to Hulk, but it was pierced by an ordinary Aru metal spear. Gamera, the adopted daughter of Thanos, has a god-killing weapon, whose name comes from being able to kill an Asgard. This shows how strong the defense of the Asgardians is. Even the entire galaxy recognizes their power. In addition, the Nidvi dwarf clan, the holy land of all scientists in the universe, specially created artifacts for Asgard to obtain its blessings, so Asgard has no shortage of artifacts at all. This also caused Asgard's magic research to be affected to a certain extent. There are very few defensive magics. Very little. The defensive magic shown in the movie is probably only the large energy shield opened by the Golden Hall during the Dark Elf raid. And now, Amaro actually used a similar defensive magic to block his attack. This makes Eren very interesting. Immediately there was an idea in my mind. I must get it. Psychokinesis continued to increase in strength, and while preventing Amara from floating, it was also manipulating the dagger to break through the defense of the protective shield. This confrontation didn't last long. When the intensity of psychokinesis increased to LV3, Amara's defense was completely broken. Alu metal drove straight in, further reducing Amara's room for movement. Advertisement. Amara looked flustered. She really didn't expect Eren to become so strong in just 1 week. It's outrageous. The psychokinesis that she had only taught the other party was actually used against her by him. Not only did she cancel her psychokinesis, but she also had the power to control the dagger to break through her energy shield. Another energy explosion magic was used by the opponent to cooperate with fantasy duplication, killing several stone titans in one fell swoop. Bolizon. When she taught Eren magic, she never wanted to teach it with sincerity. The magic she taught was all tasteless magic that she thought was completely useless. At the beginning, she even taught the other party with the intention of dismissing it. Others are not guaranteed, but energy explosions and psychokinesis are admittedly more gorgeous than practical. As long as it is a normal person, it is impossible to specialize in research. With that kind of effort, wouldn't it be better to learn more practical magic, such as illusion, shape-shifting, mind magic, teleportation, etc. Isn't both stronger than psychokinesis and energy blast? But unexpectedly, these two ordinary magics, in the hands of Eren, suddenly exerted unimaginable strength. Is it so unreasonable to be a magic evildoer? Unfair, unrealistic. Amara roared wildly in her heart. She knew very well that she had no chance of winning this battle. The opponent can push himself to such a degree by virtue of psychokinesis. If you really try your best, you will die. Escape. Must escape. Advertisement. Amara's heart moved, and she spent a lot of magic power to open a green round door in front of her. This is the portal. With a bowed head, Amara successfully passed the portal to the outside. Finally escaped. Unexpectedly, Eren, in addition to being a spiritual master, I also learned teleportation magic. After all, you are still too young and too impatient. If you can concentrate on learning, your magic achievement will definitely surpass me. By then, I will never be able to escape. However, if you didn't catch me today, you won't have a chance in the future. If only. Just what? The familiar voice echoed in her ears, and Amara turned her head stiffly, only to find Eren standing behind her. Here. Amara was already incoherent. Didn't she remember that she had teleported away? Why Eren is behind? However, she closed the portal the moment she left, How did the other party catch up? Could it be that without her knowledge, Aaron has learned the portal? Only this reason can explain why the opponent can catch up immediately. Don't think about it. Do you really think that the place you teleported is outside? Aaron saw Amora's thoughts and said meaningfully, "What do you mean? Did I never teleport away from my house?" Amora was stunned for a moment, and then a terrible possibility arose. She was in a hallucination created by Aaron the whole time. The so-called transmissions are all false fragments created by illusions. In fact, she has been in this environment and even stayed in place the whole time. Advertisement. It's just horrible. When did Aaron build a unique phantom space around a large area without her knowing it? Blind all her senses. Amora, can you listen to my request seriously now? Aaron said calmly. He has cracked all of Amora's methods. Amora's life can be taken at any time. Amora is also very clear about this. She had no doubt that Aaron would kill her. With anyone else, she would have said yes. But with Aaron, it's different. In the absence of war, every abnormal death in Asgard will attract great attention, and even Odin will personally intervene because there are too few people in Asgard. Each one is precious. If a lawless person kills someone and is discovered, it won't be long before he will be personally arrested by the higher-ups. But Aaron is different. He is a master of magic, and no one can see through the duplication he created. This means that the other party can completely kill her and use duplication to replace the other party. No one will even notice. Then, by taking advantage of a certain opportunity and dying for a reasonable reason, Amora will be forgotten without knowing it. Amora just understood, so after thinking about it for a while, she nodded and said, "Today, I'm dead, so just tell me if you have anything to do. As long as I can do it, I will do it." Wise choice. Aaron approached her, stared into her green pupils, and said, "I need you. Chapter 37. Should I vote directly? I need your mind magic, teleportation magic, energy shield magic, and invisibility magic." Amora's brows twitched when she heard this, and her tone suddenly raised. "What? You're asking me to trouble you to learn magic from me? Otherwise, what do you think I'm going to do?" I thought. Well, I'm unlucky this time. I'm so stupid to take the initiative to trouble you. Amora looked resigned. What can she do? She is also very desperate. Just to learn magic, Aaron went directly to her house, threatening to destroy her humanity. "Brother, you want to learn magic? You say it. You are a student and I am also a teacher." As for getting to this point, Amora selectively forgot the moment when she used the chicken rib magic to fool the opponent. Definitely, she didn't think so, more because these two magics showed unprecedented lethality in Aaron's hands. Before Aaron, who could combine illusions and energy blasts, it also showed amazing power. As for psychokinesis, it was deeply hidden. Once used, it cracked her energy shield. This also made Amora realize that there is no most tasteless magic, only the most useless people. The tasteless in the eyes of others is comparable to high-level magic in Aaron's hands. "I can teach you magic, but not invisibility magic." Advertisement. Aaron's eyes narrowed. Amora quickly explained, "It's not that I don't want to teach, it's that I don't know invisibility magic, otherwise I wouldn't be able to escape your illusion. Strictly speaking, invisibility magic is not the magic of Asgard, but the magic of the Warner Protoss. In the whole of Asgard, maybe only Frigga and Loki know this magic. Definitely, Odin probably will too." Hearing this explanation, Aaron was relieved. As far as he knows, although the presence of the Warner Protoss in the Marvel world is not strong, and even the only chance to appear is after Bifrost is destroyed, it is also one of Thor's counterinsurgency countries. The fighting power shown in that appearance was not even as good as this rebellion. But it cannot be simply considered that the Warner Protoss is useless. The Warner Protoss also has a long history of magic, and was one of Asgard's strong contenders for the Lord of the Nine Realms at that time. It's just that the Warner Protoss is not the protagonist, and was finally defeated by Odin, and later even began to integrate with the Eza Protoss, so that the sense of existence is very low, not as good as the collapsed Frost Titan. Its representative Hogun even became a follower of Thor, and he could only get rid of Asgard when there was turmoil in his hometown. I have to say, very sad. But Aaron doesn't care. That is to say, to get the invisibility magic, you still need to find Loki or Frigg. Aaron frowned. Although there are some discrepancies from the plan, it is still expected, and there is an unexpected harvest. Actually got teleportation magic and energy shield magic. Both of these are high-level magic, and even Loki from at the moment has never mastered them. Advertisement. Add among them, teleportation magic has only been used by old Loki. While escaping the void monster Elios, old Loki used teleportation magic many times, and it was instant magic, which was much better than Kamar-Taj's. Definitely, there are pros and cons. Asgard's teleportation magic is a high-level magic, which is quite difficult to learn and requires a huge amount of magic power. Ordinary magicians are not qualified to learn it at all, and it is also a short-distance teleportation. KUMO-AUDIOBOOK's portal is almost equal to entry-level magic. It only needs a sling ring and a certain period of training to master it, and it can be transmitted to any scene in memory. Strictly speaking, with KUMO-AUDIOBOOK's unique borrowing magic method, as long as you are an individual, you can learn the portal. Therefore, in general, Asgard's portal is not necessarily comparable to KUMO-AUDIOBOOK, but even instant, and without borrowing, it is the best choice for escape and pursuit. Although teleportation magic is not as good as KUMO-AUDIOBOOK, Aaron is more enthusiastic about it. In his opinion, these are not shortcomings, but advantages. Not enough teleportation distance? Fine. As long as you work hard enough and your level is high enough, all these can be easily solved. How much energy is needed? Fine. He will never lack magic power in the future. Even if he accumulates it with time, he can easily obtain energy reserves that are more terrifying than Odin, and even comparable to higher-level cosmic gods. As for the energy shield magic, needless to say, its rarity determines its extraordinary. For Aaron, who is seriously lacking in defensive ability, it is definitely a timely help. Shall we start now? Do you want to remove the phantom magic first? I will definitely not escape, Amara asked cautiously. What do you think? Aaron smiled half-smile. Don't play tricks, start teaching magic now, and after a week, this illusion will naturally dissipate. Okay. Amara spread her hands helplessly. Advertisement. I then began to teach Aaron magic. You have performed a portal magic seriously, and you have gained a little, and your proficiency in portal magic +1. You have performed an energy shield magic seriously, and you have gained a little, energy shield magic proficiency +1. But after a while, Aaron learned a few more spells. In addition to teleportation and energy shield, there is also the mind charm magic that Amara is proud of. Mind charm magic is not just to charm the opposite sex, it also contains abilities such as mind control and mind reading. The charm used by Amara is to use mind control combined with her special physique to develop a greater mind control strength. Although the special physique brought her a more powerful charm effect, it also deprived her of the ability to charm women. That's why Amara feels powerless towards the female Sith. In a frontal battle, she has lost her greatest reliance on magic, and it is difficult for her to use other low-level magic to threaten the opponent. Moreover, Amara can't use the special physique to charm Odin's level. Anyway, Odin is also a god-king existence, a powerful heavenly father god. Among all heavenly father gods, he is a top powerhouse. Amara can neither defeat the powerful female warrior nor charm the strongest Odin, which leads to her current poor life. After learning the point from Amara's complaints, Aaron put Amara aside and started practicing magic. In order to prevent Amara from escaping and publicizing to others, he is not going to let Amara go before raising his magic to a certain level. Amara also knew the reason, so she could only wait obediently. Seeing Aaron's crazily increased magical power, Amara suddenly had an absurd idea. Why don't you vote directly? Chapter 38, Oath. Subdue Amara. No wonder Amara suddenly thought of giving in. It's just that the magical ability displayed by Aaron is too scary. For others, the difficult magic that takes a lot of time to master, for Aaron, is still no different from the magic of illusion. After just teaching it once, the other party has learned it, and it is still improving at an astonishing speed. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, she would never have believed it. Now, Aaron's face flashed an indistinct pallor. Feeling the huge consumption of mana, Aaron immediately stopped thinking about continuing to improve. There is no way. The portal needs to consume too much mana. Compared with space storage, there is a difference between heaven and earth. With his current mana reserves, it is difficult to obtain a large amount of improvement in a very short period of time. In addition, the energy shield needs to be increased to maintain a huge amounts of phantom space. Under multiple burdens, the portal can only be raised to LV2. Further up, only slowly. Advertisement. And as for the energy shield, the same is true. Energy shield, simply speaking, is to release magic power into a protective shield, which is the most effective defense against energy attacks. But in terms of defense against physical attacks, the effect is worse. If you continue to improve, you may be able to make up for this shortcoming. It must also be made up, because among the superheroes and villains currently active in the Marvel world, most of them rely on physical strength to fight. Even a magic warrior like Thor still rarely uses thunder after awakening. The defensive power of the energy shield is also related to the energy supply, which is similar to the energy explosion magic. Therefore, if you want to maximize the ability of the shield, you must have a huge magic power. As for mind charm, Aaron hasn't started practicing yet. Looking at Amara, Aaron had an idea. You have performed a mind charm magic seriously, and you have gained a little bit, and your proficiency in charm magic +1. A tilde you are serious. A tilde. Amidst Amora's terrified look, Aaron used her to increase his psychic proficiency. This time, Amora finally experienced the exaggerated and desperately terrifying speed of improvement. The spiritual attack she felt was getting stronger and stronger, and at first she could completely ignore it, but later, she had to allocate part of her mind to resist the invasion. Advertisement. At that kind of speed was something she had never seen before. Even seeing that Aaron has learned other magic, the sense is not as shocking as experiencing it personally. She struggled to withstand wave after wave of shock. It didn't take long for the gurgling stream to turn into a mighty river. She used all her strength to resist the impact, mental barrier, mental power to hedge, and tried her best to defend. Until later, it was difficult for her to be distracted. Most hearts Shendu sank into the ferocious attack. Wait, I surrender. Don't mess with me anymore. I am willing to surrender to you and be loyal to you forever. No matter what request you make, I will obey it unconditionally. Realizing that if she continued, she would become Aaron's puppet, Amora hurriedly begged for mercy. She has controlled other people, and the man controlled by her will lose all consciousness, be driven by her wantonly, and have no freedom at all. She doesn't want to be that kind of person. She knows how pitiful the person being manipulated is, especially the target is Aaron, a master of illusion. Even if she does this and that, no one will notice, not even Odin can see the flaw. When that day came, it was more difficult for her to live than to die. You're telling the truth? Aaron stopped and looked at her. Really? Everything I said is true. Seeing this, Amora hurriedly expressed her intentions. I swear to the gods, as long as I dare to violate any of your wishes, or have bad thoughts about you, then my magic will never go any further, and I will also be condemned by God! Advertisement. Ad. Having said that, she looked up at Aaron again, and found that the other party hadn't agreed, so she gritted her teeth and said, and after I die, I will never be able to enter Valhalla, and my soul will be tortured and destroyed in the endless Hades. Valhalla is Soul Castle, the place where the souls of the Ezeprotos go after death. There, the Ezeprotos who died in battle will continue to live in the form of souls, and there may even be a chance to be resurrected in the future. It can be said that it is a place that every Asgard should not desecrate. It can be said that Amora's oath is quite weighty, and this being Marvel, swearing by the gods is powerful. Once violated, the consequences are unbearable. Even Odin didn't dare to swear like that lightly, let alone Amora. Hearing this, Aaron stopped using her to practice mind charm magic. Amora finally breathed a sigh of relief. Although the other party didn't say anything, she knew that her freedom and life were saved. But thinking that he would not be able to refuse Aaron's order in the future, his whole body seemed to lose its luster all of a sudden. Amora, why are you stupid enough to trouble him? Serve it right! Chapter 39, Frigga accepts disciples! Now that Amora has been subdued, Aaron naturally wants to implement the plan earlier. Without hesitation at the moment, he ordered, I have something for you here. Collect all the information about the Fountain of Wisdom as soon as possible. It is best to find its specific location. I'm useful, understand? Amora nodded and said, understood. I will go to the library to collect all the information immediately. Well, during this process, I don't want anyone to know the relationship between you and me, and I also don't want anyone to know that you are looking for the Fountain of Wisdom. Aaron is not going to let people know about his plan until he has enough strength to guarantee it. Even Amora, he wasn't ready to tell the whole story. During this time, he will maintain his previous relationship with Amora until he finds a solution to the energy reserve. Amora didn't dare to ask more questions, but nodded repeatedly to show that she knew. She vaguely guessed what Aaron was going to do, and for a moment, she wanted to slap herself again. Why did you mention the news of the Holy Spring at that time? Just one of the various rumors in Asgard that no one has even confirmed. That's Jotunheim, the domain of the Frost Titans. It's not the peaceful and stable Asgard. All she can do is collect all the information in the library. And there are too many books in the library, and finding the Fountain of Wisdom is no different from finding a needle in a haystack. Advertisement. Ad. Oh, I remembered. I was thinking of grabbing Aaron at the beginning, and then casually shared the gossip about the Holy Spring, but I didn't expect the other party to pay attention to this unreliable news. And from then on, I was followed by Aaron. What a wrong step. Amora was sighing when another vision of Aaron came from outside the door. After whispering a few words, he disappeared. Aaron frowned. The duplication just now was one of the few phantoms that attracted people. Since he was busy with Amora's troubles, he didn't pay attention to the phantom duplication. The duplication told him just now that Thor came to him. Aaron didn't know why Thor came to him suddenly at this moment, but it seemed to be a good thing. Otherwise Thor wouldn't be so happy, and even said that there was a surprise waiting for him. Thinking of this, Aaron gave Moro a few casual instructions, then withdrew from the illusion space and left. Seeing the familiar environment, Amora slumped on the chair, with complex emotions surging alternately, and she felt like crying for a while. A broken bar. Back home, Aaron saw Thor and his party. At the moment Thor and the others have not recovered from the joy of victory. Advertisement. These 2 days were the happiest they had been in a while, because they completed a brilliant victory. I don't know how many topics have been discussed about them. The invitation to the reception is even more difficult to get. There was even a trace of alcohol on them. Those people are so enthusiastic, they can't wait to put a few people down with 1 cup. Aaron, you're finally here. Thor saw Aaron coming, greeted with a smile, and complained, "Where have you been all this time? I can't find you, and we discussed going to have a few drinks together. You don't know, the name has spread throughout Asgard, and everyone knows that there is a legendary magician who defeated the Warner Protoss army after only learning magic for a week. My god, those people are so crazy, they want to meet you like crazy, and they also write about some passionate women, and they all expect you to attend the reception. Fandral should know best about this matter." Fandral took over the topic and complained pretendingly angrily, "Aaron, you are completely on fire. Now everyone knows that you defeated me, became the new master of swordsmanship, and defeated the enemy, winning for Asgard. Victory. Nowadays, all the girls have moved on. They all want to drink wine with you, and even those who come to me are all for the purpose of seeing you. In my opinion, you have taken away the title of Master Swordsman, and you won't keep the Playboy." Fandral showed a resentful look, and sighed repeatedly while speaking. Advertisement. You still have the reputation of a playboy who doesn't know how attractive your mouth is. You are responsible for the beauty of Asgard. Aaron said angrily. "Responsible for your appearance?" Fandral looked at Aaron seriously, feeling very unhappy. "Before you say this, you should look in the mirror." "I am not responsible for my appearance." "Ha ha ha, you've finally admitted that you're not the most handsome of us." Thor also laughed. "Thor, don't be complacent. Anyway, you are not responsible for your appearance, and you are not as handsome as me," Fandral said unceremoniously. Seeing Thor and Fandral tear down the steps suddenly, everyone else smiled knowingly. That's how they get along, best friends, so to speak. Never appear restrained because of the gap in status. "Come on, let's get down to business first." "Why are you looking for me suddenly?" Could it be that the reception didn't provide enough fine wine, or the girls weren't enthusiastic enough? Aaron didn't show much surprise at this time. He already knew how famous he was now. He became a war hero of Asgard, one of the most famous warriors, even once above the 3 warriors of Asgard. Not much worse than Thor. Thor finally remembered the business at this time, and congratulated Aaron. "Aaron, congratulations. The Queen of Heaven expressed her willingness to accept you as a disciple." Chapter 40. Asgard People and Wine. Get drunk. The Empress Dowager wants to accept me as an apprentice. Aaron was a little surprised. In his memory, Frigga only has Loki as an apprentice, and this is because they treat Loki as an adopted son, and other people don't have this treatment. But thinking about it, Irene once told him that she had suggested to Frigga to accept an apprentice on the day she entered the Magic Academy. Only that time Frigg refused. It is said that it is possible to teach in person only by continuing to observe his ability. Originally, Aaron didn't report any hope, but today Thor came to tell him the news. There is no doubt about the truth of what Thor said. He is Frigg's child. "I'm afraid this matter has been acquiesced by Odin." "That's right. In view of your powerful magical ability and outstanding performance in the rebellion, after discussing with the Queen Mother and the King Father, it was decided to accept you as a disciple and teach you more magic knowledge. After Mother knows about my relationship with you, let me inform you that you can go directly to the Magic Academy to find her in the future." Thor is delighted about this. He very much agrees with Frigg's decision. Aaron's magical ability is obvious to all. As his friend, Thor clearly and intuitively saw the rapid growth of Aaron's strength. Before learning magic, Aaron was the weakest and the youngest in their small group. But after learning magic for a week, Thor himself is probably the only one who dares to say that he can hold Aaron. Advertisement. Everyone else was surpassed by Aaron, especially in the Battle of Vanaheim. It was simply shocking. Even he was shocked by it, and it was the first time they knew that magic could still be played like this. Illusion magic and energy explosion magic are in Aaron's hands, comparable to an elite Protoss. Terrible. Congratulations Aaron. You have been recognized and taught by the Queen of Heaven. With your magical ability, You will definitely become the #1 magician in the 9 realms in the future," Hogan said with sincere congratulations. He has a lot of affection for Aaron, because the other party is one of the main forces in the war against Vanaheim. Aaron helped him save his hometown from the chaos of war, and for that alone, Hogan couldn't be more grateful. Others followed suit. They've been blown away by Aaron's performance. If it is said that Aaron got their appreciation and approval by virtue of his special research ability before, then he has completely conquered them with his strength now. Unknowingly, Aaron has become the strongest in the small group after Thor in their minds. After being overjoyed, Fandral said with a smile, "Ha ha ha, that guy Loki, he still said in front of me that you don't know as much magic as he does, but now it's alright. With the teaching of Danhu, he will soon stop laughing." Fandral, don't be too happy. Loki has not attended the reception recently. I heard that he is pestering the queen to learn magic. I'm afraid you will be played by him. Sif gloated a little. Regarding the small conflict between Loki and Fandral, they all had the mentality of watching the excitement. Advertisement. I'd never thought it was a big deal either. It even feels that after Loki learns magic, at most he just plays with them with magic as before. Let's talk about it when he has the energy to trouble me. In the future, Aaron will study with him under Frigga. I am very happy to see his expression. I believe it will be wonderful. Fandral seems to have seen Loki's depression. The others also laughed when they heard the words. They all knew that Loki had a hard time being the #1 magician of the 9 realms. No one had argued with him before, so forget it. Now there's Aaron, a magical monster. Loki's head is probably getting bigger. Facing the congratulations from everyone, Aaron took out a glass of wine as a thank you. During this period of getting along, he has figured out the hobbies of several people. Soldiers, besides picking up girls, they drink. The people of Asgard are no exception. Because of the existence of Sif, everyone is more enthusiastic about fine wine. Only Fandral never forgets to flirt with women, for which he is often disgusted by Sif. This time, what Aaron brought out was not the wine at an ordinary reception, but a high-strength wine that he had specially stored for a certain year. He is now a member of Asgard, and the thing he has had the most contact with over the millennium is fine wine besides training. Even after his memory came back to life, he gradually changed many habits for the sake of strength and survival, but his love for drinking did not change. Advertisement. It's just that the pleasure brought about by the increase in strength has suppressed this drunkenness recently. Sure enough, when Aaron took out more than a dozen jars of fine wine, Thor stared straight at the wine jars. The strong aroma of the wine took his consciousness away, and he said in a daze, "Why is this so embarrassing? I'll let you know I never thought of drinking the wine you hid." Aaron just patted him on the shoulder. "What are you waiting for? I won't come back today if I'm not drunk." Swish. After the words fell, everyone turned into drunkards, rushed up to pick up the wine jar and drank fiercely. Thor even took away the most wine with his powerful strength and Superman's first-class speed. At one time, others complained, but after a while, there was silence as Aaron took out more wine. Only the sound of rumble and occasional admiration remained. Everyone was drunk that night. Aaron was also happy to drink some more. The plan was progressing so smoothly, and the improvement in strength was even more gratifying. It was rare for him to let go of his tense spirit and celebrate well. After the return of consciousness, the second day has come. After briefly recalling what happened yesterday, Aaron hurried to the Magic Academy. He is also looking forward to learning more magic from Frigg. Among them, the invisibility magic must be acquired. P.S. I'm done with work, and I will officially resume daily updates tomorrow. Chapter 41. Is Loki stupid? When he came to the Academy of Magic, Aaron suddenly had an unspeakable emotion. This is the place where he started to try to change his destiny. When he first came, he just wanted to survive on the big stage in the future. But he didn't realize it. It was because of his decision to learn magic that he took another path. After a few days, he transformed from a rookie who had just completed his warrior training to an Asgard war hero and a magic genius. I have to say that sometimes fate is so joking, but this result is good. Aaron was very glad that he gave up the warrior assessment and became a magic apprentice instead. If it weren't for that change, he might still be an elite guard guarding the Golden Hall at this moment, waiting for Ragnaray Pilcroquet's arrival with many cannon fodder. Just when Aaron was standing at the door, many magic apprentices passing by had already surrounded him. They have recognized Aaron's identity. Oh my god, I'm not mistaken, he is Aaron, the magical genius who has been discussed recently. It is said that only a few days after he entered the Academy of Magic, he joined Prince Thor in conquering the Vanaheim rebels and won supreme glory. I really envy his ability. I heard that he is still a powerful and brave fighter. He is simply an all-rounder. Aaron doesn't have a woman yet. I don't know if I can take him down with my charm. Even if I can't become a powerful magician or a glorious warrior, It would be great if I could be a hero's wife, being able to give birth to the son of a hero. God, I can't take it. Go to bed and sleep. You still want to be Aaron's wife? You don't even look in the mirror. It's only me that has a chance. Don't think about it. When you reach the level of Sith, think about it. The hero's wife is destined to be not an ordinary person. Not always. What are you doing? Why don't you hurry up and study? Do you think you're a magic genius? While the female apprentices were discussing around Aaron, a majestic female voice came from a distance. It was Irene who came. When the female apprentices saw Irene, they scattered like a mouse seeing a cat, and went to the classroom honestly. Advertisement. The familiar scene made Aaron laugh out loud. It seems that no matter where it is, the teacher is the natural enemy of the students. Aaron, here you come. After coaxing away the female apprentice, Irene came to Aaron and looked at him with complicated eyes. Aaron has completely surpassed her. Eileen was extremely proud to be his teacher. From her hands, a record-breaking magical monster appeared. A strong man who turned from a magic apprentice to a war hero in just 1 week. Just as she expected, Aaron used magic to change the people of Asgard's view of magician. Although this change is not thorough enough, it is finally seeing hope. I believe that with Aaron's ability, the status of magicians will be significantly improved in a short time. Hello, Teacher Aaron. Aaron said hello to him. Irene was bold. Perhaps changing any magic teacher can stimulate his gold finger, but the reality is that Irene was his first teacher, not others. Irene smiled when she heard the words, suddenly thought of business, and then pulled Aaron inside. Aaron, you came just in time. It seems that Thor has told you that the Queen of Heaven is going to accept you as a disciple. Now she is waiting for you. Come with me. When Aaron and Irene rushed to where Frigga was, the atmosphere in a classroom of the Academy of Magic was a bit dull. In the huge classroom, there are only one man and one woman. The woman was dressed in a gorgeous long dress and had long golden hair. She is the wife of Odin, Frigga, Queen of Asgard. Under the dignified and quiet appearance, she is still a powerful witch. Beside her, is Loki. At the moment, Loki has been depressed for a long time about accepting Aaron as his apprentice. Advertisement. And he had a hunch that Aaron's magic skills would surpass him soon. After all, Aaron's ability is too terrifying and beyond compare. Mother, why did you accept Aaron as a student? Didn't you allow him to learn from other teachers? Loki said, slightly dissatisfied. Aaron is different. He is a magical monster. In addition to needing a good teacher to teach him, he also needs someone to guide him. Make good use of his abilities to help you and your big brother protect Asgard and the peace of the 9 realms. Frigg said calmly. But why does it have to be you? You never took anyone else as a disciple before. Loki was not happy with this answer. Regarding this matter, apart from worrying that Aaron would completely surpass him in magic, he also felt uncomfortable that Aaron wanted to separate his teachings from Frigga. Loki is envious of Aaron's ability, jealous that he has received attention and recognition that he has never received, and is also hostile to Aaron, who is about to become Frigga's second disciple. Before that, he was the only disciple of Frigga. Frigga saw that Loki was a little emotional, and she patiently said, Loki, Aaron is not only a magical genius, but also made great contributions. As a king, he must show something. I am responsible for teaching him, which is part of the expression. You and Thor were born to be kings, so you must learn to distinguish between rewards and punishments, and know how to use them well. Aaron has made a contribution, we have to reward him, and we can't dismiss him casually. Even if it's not Aaron this time, but someone else, the result will be the same. Aaron's magical ability is unheard of. We need to guide him well so that he can become your most powerful assistant in the future. I think, with your intelligence, it should be easy to understand. Loki nodded. How could he not know Frigg's painstaking efforts? But, born to be king? He used to believe it, but now he doesn't believe it, or half believes it. Odin's preference for Thor is barely concealed. Thor has gained much more than him. Whether it is strength or weapons, Thor is more than stronger than him. Judging by Odin's attitude, the future king of Asgard will only be Thor, unless he can prove to Odin that he has more potential to be king than Thor. Thinking of this, Loki couldn't help asking in a low voice, my queen, am I really born to be a king? Advertisement. Frigga said without thinking, yes, you were born to be a king. Only, not the king of Asgard. Seeing Loki like this, Frigga wanted to tell him the truth, but Odin said that now is not the time, so I can only keep hiding it. When the time comes, Loki will understand their painstaking efforts. After getting Frigg's affirmative answer, Loki was relieved a little, and the desire to prove it became stronger in his heart. He wants to prove to everyone that he, Loki, is more suitable to be king than Thor. Even without Thor, he can lead the people of Asgard to peace. The air fell into a brief silence. Not long after, Aaron's voice came from outside the door. Days later, Aaron is here. Then, the man Loki envied and hated walked in and smiled at him. Hello, Loki. Hello, Aaron. Loki responded with a forced smile, almost mad inside. He regards the opponent as one of the strongest competitors, but the opponent has no idea of him as an opponent at all. This sense of huge amounts of drop made Loki even more aggrieved. But thinking of the identities of both parties, Loki's smile became a little more sincere. HMPH, so what if you are a magical evildoer? So what if you become the #1 magician in the 9 realms? I am the son of Odin, the future king of Asgard, but you are just an ordinary magician, and you can only submit to me. No matter how strong you become, you still have to obey my orders in the end. Ha 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 ha. Aaron naturally didn't know what Loki was thinking, but it was just surprised by Loki's sincere smile. In his impression, since learning magic, Loki hasn't really shown him a good face, always trying to suppress him intentionally or unintentionally. However, today it looks like he has taken fake medicine. Could it be that he is stupid? Chapter 42 Odin's Promise, God of Magic! Aaron, you are here. I have heard the name of a magic genius before. Irene told me about you on the first day you entered school. At that time, I didn't believe that someone was exaggerating that much. Now that I think about it, I was wrong. Your ability is even more shocking than what Irene said. Frigga walked forward slowly, carefully sizing up Aaron, this handsome Asgard new generation genius, who gave her many surprises. She is not stingy with praise, and under the double halo of the son of a hero and the magic monster, she loves Aaron very much. The diva deserves the prize. Compared to Thor and Loki, I'm still far behind, Aaron said humbly. Frigga is very satisfied with Aaron's answer. After gaining great glory and magical ability far surpassing Superman, he still maintains his true heart and is not conceited. It can be seen that Aaron is not only superior in ability, but also has a very high emotional intelligence. He is indeed the son of a hero. Ability and intelligence are so dazzling. Don't be humble, Aaron, your performance and ability are obvious to all. Odin also praised you in front of me many times. He said that Manning gave birth to a good son, and he will gain more glory in the future. He must be a legendary hero of Asgard in the future. He even said that when you finish learning Asgard's magic and make more contributions, he will consider bestowing blessings. By then, you will become the new god of magic in Asgard. Frigga's words fell into the ears of everyone present and set off a huge wave. They had thought that both Frigga and Odin praised Aaron's ability and bravery, and they also thought that there were other awards. But they never imagined that Odin had such high expectations for Aaron. He even made a promise to the god of magic. That is a real god name. In the tens of millions of years, there are very few beings with a name of gods born in Asgard. Advertisement. After years of war, numbers declined further. Up to now, the number of god-named beings remaining in Asgard is no more than the number of hands. Although Asgard belongs to the Protoss and is called a god by the people on Earth, in fact, most of the Asgards are not real gods. Generally, only members of the royal family and those most trusted by Odin can have the name of a god and walk as a god. For example, Thor, the guardian god Heimdall and so on. And now, Aaron has been promised in advance that he will receive the title of God of Magic and become a real god. And the God of Magic. This is a god name that is not inferior to the name of Thor. You know, the last god of magic was Odin himself. According to this, one can even boldly guess that Odin himself already believes that Aaron's magic ability surpasses him, and one day he will replace him as the most powerful magician. God. This is simply the coldest joke in the millennium. Compared with the god of magic, the #1 magician in the 9 realms is a hammer. Loki's smile froze, while Irene smiled brightly. Her guess came true. Aaron really had the potential to be the greatest magician, and, as she thought, the new god of magic. His ability has been affirmed by the king of God. His future is destined to be bright. Not to mention Loki and Irene, even Aaron himself was incredible. How could Odin promise him the god of magic so easily? Advertisement. Outrageous. Outrageous. Did Odin think he was as loyal to him and to Asgard as Heimdall? Oh, right. I was originally a son of a hero, one of Thor's best friends. Aaron quickly remembered his identity. Strictly speaking, he did have the possibility of gaining Odin's trust. Perhaps Odin has branded himself a follower of Thor, like the 3 warriors and Sif. If Hela hadn't appeared, the 3 warriors must have been the 3 commanders of the Asgard army, assisting Thor in maintaining the stability of the 9 realms. And Aaron will also assist Thor in the name of the god of magic in the future. Thinking about it this way, everything makes sense. Aaron has lived in Asgard for 1,000 years. If there was a problem, it would have been discovered long ago. Now with Superman's ability and Genzeng Mai Hong's label, it's too normal to be wooed by Odin. What's more, it's just the promise now. When will he finish learning magic and make more contributions? Can he truly receive the blessing of Odin, and walk among the gods in the name of the god of magic? All thoughts were fleeting. Aaron thanked Frigga, and said that he would live up to the King of Gods' expectations in the future. Frigga smiled and nodded. Aaron, you must work hard. The God King and I are looking forward to your growth. Thor and Loki also need your magic assistance. Please don't worry about Danhu. Aaron replied immediately. Sure enough, Frigga and Odin's calculations were crackling. It's hinting at what Aaron should do so soon. Aaron even suspects that even if he doesn't have so many credits in the future and doesn't learn all the magic, as long as he follows Thor's footsteps and has no second thoughts, then he must be the god of magic. Advertisement. Ad. In addition, Frigga said it in front of Loki and Irene. Even if Odin did not fulfill his promise, Thor will definitely know about it when he takes over, and he will replace Odin to give Aaron the title of God of Magic. By people's hearts. Although getting in touch with Thor was one of Aaron's plans, and he didn't really regard Thor as a brother who shared life and death, but he didn't dislike Thor during this period of getting along. Thor is really good to friends, and he won't show it like that to outsiders. Ego. If possible, Aaron wouldn't mind bringing Thor to the top without compromising his own interests. But if he is to offer loyalty to Thor and exist for Thor, that is naturally impossible. In fact, he was a little afraid to get too close to Thor, because Thor is too miserable. Get too close to him and you'll be dead, man. The three warriors died in battle one after another. Loki died to save him. Frigga and Odin also died. Asgard was destroyed. The clansmen died. 2 or 3 big cats and kittens. His girlfriend Jane also died of cancer. Although Aaron has Goldfinger to cover the bottom line, Marvel's waters are too deep, and no one dares to say that he is the winner until the last moment. He will help Thor, but also consider the situation. So it is doomed to live up to the wishes of Frigga and Odin. Aaron doesn't feel too guilty about that. Humans always have selfishness. Nor did he have the will to die for others. For the name of a god of magic, it is not worth giving up his freedom and life. Frigga didn't know what Aaron was thinking, and she was extremely satisfied with Aaron's answer. Aaron, since you are already my student, the content of the first class is up to you to decide. What do you want to learn? Aaron replied without hesitation. My queen, I want to learn invisibility magic! Chapter 43 Group Stealth Magic. You want to learn invisibility magic? You have a good eye. It's a very practical magic. After listening to Aaron's request, Frigga immediately entered the teaching mode. Invisibility magic, like illusion magic, is a kind of auxiliary magic, but don't underestimate it. Once you master it, it can make you a ghost in the battlefield. In terms of specificity, it is no worse than illusion magic. I think, with your illusion magic attainments, you can imagine the importance of invisibility magic. Aaron nodded. He naturally knew the horror of invisibility magic. With his invisibility magic, Loki can swagger and try to pick up Mjolnir under the strict control of Shield. He also often cooperates with illusion magic to play Thor and others. If it weren't for Loki's hilarious role, often forgetting to use magic, he wouldn't always be deflated. At least, he won't be beaten and can escape smoothly every time. The old Loki faked his death to trick Thanos, and it was also 2 kinds of magic that were used in conjunction. Obviously, this kind of magic has been practiced to the depths, and it can even fool the gem-bearer. After using the invisibility magic, you can hide your figure and deceive others' vision. If you can cultivate to a deeper level, you can even hide all the information including smell and temperature. No matter how advanced the technology is, you won't be able to understand it. Aaron, you should know about Heimdall's all-seeing eye. I know, his all-seeing eye can find anyone or anything he wants, and he can even see through all disguises until he finds the target. Aaron simply stated what he knew about the all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye can be described as a rather buggy ability. With Bifrost, it can exert its star-killing combat power. Asgard uses the all-seeing eye to know many secrets without leaving home, maintain the stability of the 9 realms, and prevent other countries from taking the lead easily. Because they all know that under Heimdall's eyes, there is almost no way to hide. The all-seeing eye is a very powerful ability, but the invisibility magic can hide it from him. Frigga reveals a shocking secret. Aaron is not surprised by this either. Because of this, Loki has done it many times. How else would he hook up with Jotunheim's Frost Titan? Moreover, the stealth spaceship of the Dark Elves was almost hidden from Heimdall, but their stealth technology was not as strong as that of Loki, and Heimdall finally noticed it. Speaking of invisibility magic, Loki's invisibility magic attainment has reached a very high level, so let Loki demonstrate it for Aaron. Frigga signaled Loki to come forward to demonstrate. At the moment, only Aaron, Loki and Frigga are present. When Frigga began to give a formal lecture, Irene left the classroom knowingly. Advertisement. Although she is a magic teacher, it is inconvenient for her to stay when Tanhu is teaching in person. As for Loki, he simply watched Aaron study. He knew that Aaron's magical abilities were exaggerated, but had never seen it in person. Therefore, He wanted to see if it could make every teacher doubt life as rumored. At this time, when Frigga asked him to demonstrate, Loki reluctantly stood up and cast the invisibility magic. In the next instant, Loki disappeared from the sight of the two of them, invisible. Aaron carefully noticed Loki's location, but obviously, it was impossible to find Loki's location with naked eyes, hearing and smell. The best way to find out where Loki is will be through magic. Ordinary technological means cannot detect Loki's location. Loki, who was invisible, looked at Aaron who was looking for him, and finally showed a smug smile. Magic monster, right? It's not impossible to crack my invisibility. Loki's achievements in invisibility magic can be regarded as the first person in Asgard. He can fool Thor and even Frigga, and maybe only Odin can find Loki's location without using other means. At the moment, seeing Aaron finally deflated, Loki became very playful, relying on others not being able to see him. He quietly walked towards Aaron, wanting to play tricks on him. It is worth mentioning that Loki in the stealth state has been able to control the sound of walking to a level that is difficult for the ear to distinguish. Coupled with the lack of dust and other objects on the ground, Aaron has no way of knowing Loki's movements. But he also knew Loki's temperament. In order to prevent possible teasing, Aaron directly used psychokinesis, summoning the invisible wind of psychokinesis to envelope the surroundings. In psychokinesis breeze, a human-shaped obstacle appears in the perception, even visible to the naked eye. The figure was only a few steps away from Aaron. Seeing this, Loki didn't know that his invisibility had been seen through, so he recovered his figure rather annoyed. Aaron didn't do anything to Loki. Frigga was still here after all. Frigga went on to say, at this moment, use the psychokinesis storm to find the invisible, wisecracking method. But this is based on knowing Loki's invisibility. What if someone uses invisibility to approach you without your knowledge? You can't use psychokinesis storm all the time, and stealth is impossible. That's the charm of this magic. Advertisement. Frigga pointed out the shortcomings of Aaron's cracking method. Aaron accepts humbly. After all, for now, it is indeed the case. With his current magic level, he can think of several cracking methods, but they can only be used when he knows it. However, the enemy will not tell you that he is invisible. However, Aaron can be sure that after learning more magic and further improving his strength, this problem will be solved. Moreover, the reason why he learned invisibility magic was not to assassinate anyone, but to improve his strength by hiding from Frost Titan and even Odin. Next, Frigga explained in detail how to use invisibility magic. It can be seen that her teaching ability is quite good. But for Aaron, there is no difference between good teaching and bad teaching. You cast stealth magic seriously once, and you get a little gain, stealth magic proficiency +1. You play it seriously. In front of the two of them, Aaron began to switch between invisible and physical. The stealth level of LV1 has many flaws. Both Frigga and Loki can easily spot weak spots. This level of invisibility can only hide the body, but not with clothes. But soon, when the invisibility magic was raised to LV2, the two frowned slightly. At this time, it is difficult to find flaws in the invisibility magic. Definitely, Loki has a lot of practical insights into invisibility, since it's the magic he uses most often to trick people. Therefore, Loki can still easily see where Aaron is through his understanding of invisibility magic. But this situation will soon change. As Aaron raised his invisibility magic to LV3, Loki's brows almost knit together. He was surprised to find that he couldn't seem to find any flaws behind Aaron's invisibility. No, it should still work. He knew all too well about invisibility magic. Even surpasses illusion magic and shape-shifting. Loki is confident that it will take some time to find the opening. Advertisement. It's just that he doesn't think about it anymore. The reason is simple. How long has Aaron been learning invisibility magic? Pushed myself to this extent so quickly. If you let the other party continue to study, I'm afraid that you will surpass yourself soon. At this moment, Loki can understand why Amora and Irene both doubt life after teaching Aaron magic. It's completely like the apprentice of the church starved to death of the master. Loki completely extinguished the idea of A fighting Aaron magically. He who has always prided himself on being a magical genius, finally understands the truth that there are people outside people. An evildoer is an evildoer, and a genius is mentally handicapped in front of them. Even if you're a genius, don't even think about comparing yourself with evildoers. Fortunately, Aaron is just an ordinary Asgard, and he was born to be king. Thinking that he will control the magic monster in the future, Loki is very happy. Frigga on the other side also nodded frequently. Even though she had seen Aaron's ability before, she was still shocked when she watched it again from a close distance. The god of magic must belong to Aaron. No one is qualified to be the god of magic except him. After learning the invisibility magic, Aaron didn't ask Frigga anymore, but kept practicing the invisibility magic alone, and entered a state of frantic learning. Frigga was not angry when she saw Eren immersed in it. She even thought Eren's behavior was justified, because only this kind of person can improve magic so quickly. Loki was also relieved to see that Eren didn't learn any other magic. After leaving with Frigg, he continued to pester him to learn magic. So in a flash, several hours passed. By the time Eren returned to his mind, the invisibility magic had been raised to LV4. It's not far from LV5. Seeing this, Eren simply continued to practice, trying to raise the invisibility magic to LV5 in one fell swoop. I don't know how long it has passed. With the last magic cast, the invisibility magic has finally been upgraded to LV5. You have performed a stealth magic seriously, and you have gained a lot. Your stealth magic proficiency +4. Your stealth magic has been upgraded, and the upgrade is group stealth magic. Chapter 44. When the plan is in progress, group invisibility magic, as the name suggests, is no longer limited to hiding. Originally, Eren can even go invisible with multiple people, and in this stealth state, it can perfectly hide the temperature, sound, light, smell and other flaws. Even the magical breath can be hidden. Even the current Asgard technology cannot detect the existence of Eren. You must know that the toys played by children in Asgard have surpassed the cutting-edge technology of the Earth for hundreds of years. Moreover, Heimdall's all-seeing eye cannot detect the position of Eren in the invisible state. At this moment, as long as he can reach Jotunheim smoothly, Eren is confident that he can take a leisurely walk in the infinite Frost Titan. He can even move in and out of the Frost Titan's lair without stress, and sit on his throne in front of Lorth. No one can know of his existence. As for whether Odin can perceive him when he is invisible, Eren can't guarantee it. Because Odin rarely shows, he hides very deeply. No one can know how terrifying he is at the peak after exerting his full strength, and no one wants to test Odin's limits. This is what makes Odin appear unfathomable. Even analyzing Odin's strength can only be analyzed through his opponents. Being able to seal Hela, who made awakening Thor desperate, can also defeat Surti at his peak. No matter which one is, you can spy on Odin's depth. Eren doesn't think he has the strength to play Odin now. He also didn't want to test the opponent's magic attainments so quickly. Advertisement. And with the help of Goldfinger, he will surpass Odin. Now that the invisibility magic is obtained, one more prerequisite is met. Next, you only need to know where the Holy Spring is, and you can initially solve the problem of magic energy storage. As for the two artifacts in Odin's treasury, Eren also wants to get them. However, there is a magic restriction set by Odin on the treasure curry. Once it breaks in, Odin will know it. That may lead to a head-on conflict with Odin, and the gain outweighs the gain. Eren habitually conjured up a pen and paper to write down the plan. That previous plan wasn't perfect. He originally wanted to use mind charm magic to control Heimdall, using his all-seeing eye and Bifrost control to teleport himself to the Fountain of Wisdom. But considering that after the mind charms the other party, it may be known to the existence of the power of the mind. Eren wanted to use the secret passage between Jotunheim and Asgard to enter it. The 9 realms are not accessible only by spaceship or Bifrost. There are some extremely special space points among the 9 worlds that rely on the world tree. As long as you find them, you can only travel to and from different worlds. The first few Frost Titans in Thor 1 bypassed Heimdall's surveillance under the leadership of Loki, came to Asgard through secret passages, and sneaked into Odin's treasury, trying to take the casket of ancient winters. Not only interrupted Thor's ceremony of becoming the heir, but also triggered a series of events such as expelling Thor and killing Lorth. At this point, Asgard has entered an era of being ravaged, and the 9 realms are no longer peaceful. If you want to know this secret passage, you need to use mind magic and mind reading to know Loki's thoughts. Or wait for Thor's enshrinement ceremony, and wait for the chaos to begin. Eren thought for a moment, and decided to use the first method. This Loki is not a female Loki, and there is no mind control at the level of awakening possession. As long as the spiritual magic attainment is high enough, you can detect the other party's memory without anyone noticing. The biggest problem is the coordinates of the Fountain of Wisdom. Advertisement. This question can also be answered by trying to read Heimdall's memory. Definitely, the library should also think of a way. Perhaps only use phantom duplication. It is too difficult for a Moro alone to find available information from the vast library. Summon enough entity duplications to speed up the process. It's just that in this way, it will consume a lot of magic power and soul. After all, each duplication takes up a certain amount of mental power. The more the number, the greater the pressure on the user. But for the sake of planning, that's all. Thinking of this, Eren is going to divide the plan into 2 steps. The first step is to improve the spiritual magic. When it is strong enough, if you haven't got the coordinates, go to the second step, temporarily put aside the strength improvement, and put all your mind into the library. If you still can't find the fountain of wisdom, then maybe you just have to wait patiently. Wait for Loki to muddy the waters of the 9 realms, and fish in troubled waters. It won't be long before that day, although Aaron doesn't know what time the Earth is now, but according to the time calculation, it should not be long before entering Thor 1's timeline. Even if you can't find the holy spring, at most it will delay some strength improvement. At that time, find a way to get the casket of ancient winters, which can also solve this problem. Thinking of this, he waved his hand to cancel the magic, and Aaron rushed home to improve his mind magic as soon as possible. At this time, Thor and the others have already left, and I don't know which reception to attend. In the following time, Aaron frantically improved his spiritual magic, and then worked hard to restore his magic power. Because the next plan does not allow for any flaws, it is very important to maintain the peak of spirit and magic power. Advertisement. Another day passed. On this day, Aaron rarely found Loki. Loki finds it very strange that Aaron offered to meet him. Before that, Aaron never took the initiative to contact him, and only had the opportunity to deal with him through Thor. As smart as Loki, he has long been vaguely aware of Aaron's inexplicable rejection of him. That's why he didn't think about wooing Aaron. But he never cared because he was used to it. From ordinary Asgardians to the 3 warriors of Asgard and Odin, there is this sense of alienation. Loki doesn't think Aaron's estrangement is something beyond comprehension. However, this time he sensed an aura called conspiracy. If it wasn't for the appointment of the Academy of Magic, he wouldn't even be willing to attend the appointment. When he came to the agreed place, Loki didn't see Aaron's figure. This made him frown slightly. What's the situation? Are you playing tricks on me? Loki subconsciously brought the other person into him. In the past, he had made many great feats of asking people out and teasing them with magic. That is, now that he has grown up, he is unwilling to do this kind of boring trick. In fact, no one is fooled anymore. At this thought, Loki's mouth curved into a smile. If you want to play me, then you're looking for the wrong target. When it comes to juggling people, that's my specialty. Loki held his breath, quietly used invisibility and illusion, and used duplication to wait in place, while the main body was hidden in the dark, trying to play tricks on Aaron. However, he didn't know at all that Aaron had quietly come behind him at the place where he hid his figure. Chapter 45, The Coordinates of the Holy Spring! Coming to the position behind Loki, Aaron has already made sure that the other party has not noticed him in the slightest. The stealth magic of LV5 has surpassed Loki's stealth magic attainments. Unless Aaron voluntarily exposes, Loki will never be able to rely on traditional methods to find out his location. Aaron puts a hand on Loki's shoulder. The power of the mind is activated in an instant. A golden light flashed in the pupils of Aaron and Loki at the same time. In an instant, Aaron got what he wanted from the opponent's brain. A secret passage leading to Jotunheim. FK, who is it? A sudden touch on the shoulder made Loki jump up subconsciously, staring behind him with wide eyes, and the phantom did the same, which looked extraordinarily funny. Loki looked around carefully, but found nothing unusual. Phantom or stealth? Only Aaron can achieve this level of attainment. Come out, Aaron, I see you. I've never been afraid of anyone than magic. Loki shouted angrily, trying to trick Aaron out. That confident look is very seductive. Aren't you coming out yet? Isn't it illusion magic and invisibility magic? Do you really think I can't break your magic? HMPH. I advise you to show up on your own initiative, or when I find you, your reputation as a magical monster will be shattered. Hurry up, the last 10 seconds. You're done when I count to 1. 10, 9, advertisement. Add 8. 3, 2, 1 past 5, 1 past 4, 1 past 3, 1 past 2, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock 9, 1 o'clock 8. Loki's serious expression could hardly be stretched anymore. While counting, he was also secretly observing the environment, trying to find where Aaron was. For this reason, psychokinesis was used in the same way as Aaron. However, the results were far from ideal. Aaron didn't seem to be around. This made Loki's heart skip a beat. Something was a little bit unexpected. The rhetoric has been put down, and it continues. He doesn't know how to collect it. I can only keep counting, but I dare not really call out one. Oops, it's over. While Loki was racking his brains for a solution, in the dark, Aaron is observing Loki's facial expressions. He's trying to determine if Loki has sensed the power of the mind at that moment. But now it seems that Loki has not noticed the key problem, and pays more attention to invisibility and illusion. Aaron was completely relieved, and he stopped teasing Loki anymore, and took the initiative to sell a loophole, deliberately walking through dusty places, leaving a layer of shallow marks. Loki, who has been observing the surroundings, quickly found the weakness. 3 past 1, 1. Advertisement. I found you, Aaron, here you are. Loki stepped forward quickly, Psychokinesis surged all around, easily finding the exact location of Aaron. "You found out anyway, Loki." Aaron appeared annoyed. While Loki breathed a sigh of relief in the dark, he said on the bright face, "Aaron, I already knew your position. Although your invisibility magic is very good, it's still far behind me. You still have a lot to learn. Don't try to surpass me in a short time." Loki finally found an opportunity to perform, and naturally he would not give up easily. This time he didn't play with Aaron, and almost flipped the car, which was not so good. Coupled with Aaron's identity, Loki talked more and more vigorously, without even thinking about a key question. That's why Aaron was so careless. Also, there is no confirmation of Aaron's authenticity. While Loki was tirelessly rambling, outside the Academy of Magic, the real Aaron had already set off for Bifrost. From Loki, he got the answer he wanted. With Loki's magical attainments, he couldn't detect the mind detection, so Heimdall couldn't possibly detect it. So an entity duplication was left to entangle with Loki, and originally left stealthily to find Heimdall. Bifrost. Heimdall has been guarding the Bifrost Center for 10 years, and casts his sharp eyes on the 9 realms and beyond. He is the guardian god of Asgard, wielding the guardian sword, and guarding the portal of Asgard by Odin's order. He is also the common enemy of all those who try to fight the 9 realms. As long as Heimdall remains here, the enemy can be blocked from the 9 realms. No matter who wants to invade the 9 realms, Heimdall cannot be bypassed, and he must find a way to get rid of him. In addition to the strength of Odin, the reason why Asgard has long-term peace and stability is also due to the great contribution of Heimdall. Now, advertisement. Heimdall is still performing guardian duties. Aaron, on the other hand, hid his figure and approached Bifrost step by step. During this process, Heimdall was completely unaware of Aaron's presence. Even his gaze would occasionally withdraw from the outside world and cast it in the direction of Bifrost, to put an end to any possible situation. In fact, his job is to watch over the 9 realms, which includes Asgard originally. While guarding against external enemies, he must also guard against internal enemies. The people of Asgard are naturally under his watch. Despite this, Aaron was still in Heimdall's vision, and he was getting closer until he came to him. The guardian god, after all, is just a trick. Aaron sighed slightly, and then used his spiritual power, hoping to get news of the Fountain of Wisdom. However, the results were very disappointing. Heimdall didn't know where the Fountain of Wisdom was. "No, it's not that I don't know." Just as the all-seeing eye doesn't really see all, Heimdall doesn't see everything. Loki and Aaron in the invisible state, the special teleportation space connected to the 9 realms, and the mysterious space where reality gem type particles are stored, and even Kamar-Taj are all beyond Heimdall's surveillance. In Jotunheim, there are a few places that Heimdall cannot watch. One of the locations Aaron is well aware of is the secret passage that Loki knows from his mind. With the particularity of the Fountain of Wisdom, it is beyond Heimdall's monitoring. Therefore, you only need to rule out a few of these possibilities, and you will be able to find the real Fountain of Wisdom. Aaron withdrew his mind power, secretly wrote down those locations, turned and left without hesitation. Heimdall, the patron saint, was completely unaware that someone had quietly come and gone under his surveillance, and even probed his brain to get the answer he wanted. Chapter 46, to Jotunheim, the Fountain of Wisdom, Magic Library. There are not many soldiers in Asgard, and there are even fewer qualified magicians. It often takes hundreds of years to cultivate a qualified magician who can stand on his own. More are half buckets of water between apprentices and full-fledged magicians. This also led to the fact that the magicians who appeared in the movie can be counted with 2 hands. Odin, Frigg, Loki. When Aaron came here, there were only a dozen or so people in the huge library. Even knowing that there are few magicians in Asgard, one cannot help but be struck by the desolation of the place. Aaron's arrival did not attract the attention of others. They are all immersed in the ocean of magic, seeking more knowledge. Aaron looked around and quickly found Amora's location. Interestingly, with Amora at the center, there is no one else in a large area. This shows how unpopular Amora is in Asgard. Fountain of Wisdom. World Tree. Jotunheim. Damn it, where is the holy fountain? Just as Aaron approached, he heard Amora's muttering faintly. Aaron stepped forward and patted Amora on the shoulder, startling the latter. Who is it? Didn't see my old lady ... Like a frightened cat, Amora exploded her hair in an instant and wanted to spit out the fragrance, but when she saw that the person who came was Aaron, she immediately swallowed the tiger wolf words that had rushed down her throat, and regained her seductive face again. A wonderful face-changing skill was completed within a short period of time, and Aaron couldn't help but laugh when he saw it. Aaron ... Master ... I'm looking for news about the Fountain of Wisdom. Why are you here? Advertisement. Ad. When she said this, Amora looked very uncomfortable, and she no longer had the frivolous and casual attitude of a strong woman, but looked like a timid quail. Aaron frowned. His face was a little ugly, but soon he smiled again. "Have you forgotten what I said, Teacher Amora?" The tone of the words Teacher Amora is particularly loud. Amora instantly remembered the key points of Aaron's previous instructions, and her face changed again. She no longer looked so humble and timid. This time it was much more normal. "Aaron, what do you want to see me for?" "Is it about magic?" Amora said with a serious teacher's appearance. Aaron nodded. His voice became much quieter in an instant. "I need to see the map of Jotunheim and some important marked areas." "So it's this problem. It's easy to handle. I'll tell you the key to this magic now." Amora nodded, and led Aaron towards a bookshelf, quickly out of sight. The two stopped, gathering a pile of books from different places and putting them together. Jotunheim is the domain of the Frost Titans. Although Asgard completely conquered the Frost Titans 1,000 years ago, and even broke into their lair and took the casket of ancient winters, we don't know much about Jotunheim. Amora opened a book while talking. This book records the most detailed map information of Jotunheim, including the location of the lair of Frost Titan Lorf. It is said that the corrector of this book is Heimdall. His eyes are trustworthy. There will not be much difference between the information and the real Jotunheim, but there is no information about the Fountain of Wisdom. It's this book. No need. I already have an idea. Aaron glanced at the map casually, corresponding with several points in his mind one by one, and quickly narrowed down the scope. Jotunheim is much bigger than Asgard. Even if the target is narrowed down to a few points, it is not so easy to find. If you want to go through all the coordinates, it will take an unacceptable amount of time to rely on your feet alone. And it's a world of ice and snow there, and with the physical fitness of the Asgardians, it can't bear it for a long time. Aaron didn't want to stay in that awful place for too long. Now narrowing down again with the help of map data, it's time to go to Jotunheim. Next, you don't need to search for news about the Fountain of Wisdom anymore. Just stay honest and don't do stupid things. Advertisement. After exhorting Amora, Aaron left the library again. On the way to leave, another entity duplication was separated. This duplication will attract the attention of others, including Frigga. During his time in Jotunheim, traveling to Jotunheim without permission is a felony. 1,000 years ago, Odin and Lorf signed a truce agreement. The two sides are not allowed to step into each other's territory. Anyone who dares to cross the border without complying with the agreement will be at their own risk. It is impossible for Aaron to tell other people about this matter. Once he knows, even if he escapes the siege of the Frost Titan, he will definitely be severely punished by Odin. Even if he is the son of a hero, a magical evildoer, he cannot be exempted from guilt. The entity duplication of LV5 is enough to deceive everyone except Odin. As long as I try to avoid going to the Golden Hall to meet Odin during this time, then everything will be fine. But just in case, if you really find the Fountain of Wisdom and solve the problem of magical energy reserves, the first thing you should upgrade is the portal. If I can travel between Asgard and Jotunheim anytime, anywhere, I can completely avoid the possibility of being discovered. As Aaron walked in stealth, he thought about the plan behind him. Soon came the secret passage in Loki's memory. Without hesitation, he stepped into the cave without stopping, passed through a space turbulence, and came to the icy Jotunheim, the hometown of Frost Titans. Looking around, there are mountains, rivers and lands formed by ice for thousands of years. Aaron shuddered at the biting chill. Even a body as strong as his can hardly resist the cold, which shows how low the temperature here is. Aaron took out a coat made of high-quality Asgard leather from the space, and wrapped it around a plush scarf, so that he would not continue to be attacked by the cold. Relying on the memory of the Jotunheim map in Heimdall's mind, Aaron set out on the journey to find the holy spring after determining the direction. Along the way, Aaron remained invisible. Advertisement. Even in ice and snow, it can perfectly cover the traces of walking. Frost Titans passing by from time to time did not notice this unexpected guest. They can't even imagine that there is an Asgard who is a world enemy, walking under their noses. Jotunheim rarely sees the sun. At least during the time Aaron was gone, he never saw the sun. Snow is the only weather here. The faint light coming from nowhere keeps the world from falling into eternal darkness. But even so, for people of other races, Jotunheim is definitely not a good place, let alone a tourist attraction worth visiting. Here, besides ice and snow, there is ice and snow, and the Frost Titan hidden somewhere may also appear at any time and take people's lives. I don't know how long I walked like this. Aaron finally found a suspected Fountain of Wisdom. This place is not covered in ice and snow like other places. On the contrary, there is a kind of spring full of vitality. And there are no Frost Titans nearby. It seems that they are avoiding this place. Although he hasn't seen the Fountain of Wisdom yet, Aaron is sure that this is the place he was looking for. He can perceive the majestic magical breath from the air. The whole body absorbs the surging magic power like a glutton. Right here. There was a flash of light in Aaron's eyes, and then he entered it and came to a holy spring. Fountain of Wisdom! Chapter 47. Huge source of magic power. Idea of a source of magic. The Fountain of Wisdom, also known as the Fountain of Mima, is located in Jotunheim, connected to the World Tree. It is said that all you need to do is drink from the spring to gain wisdom. According to the myths and legends before time travel, Odin came to the spring in order to gain wisdom, exchanged his right eye, and obtained all the knowledge in the world after drinking the spring water. At this point Odin lost an eye forever. Now, though, it's the Marvel Universe, although it is not yet certain whether this universe is a movie universe. Aaron knows from memory that the eye that Odin loses now was not sacrificed to gain wisdom, but was injured by Lorf. In other words, Odin's wisdom has nothing to do with the Fountain of Wisdom, and its ability to predict Ragnarok comes from Odin's power. Amara also learned from fragmentary information that the Fountain of Wisdom has some unknown special powers, but no one knows yet. After all, the relationship between Asgard and Jotunheim does not allow anyone to discover the secrets of the Fountain of Wisdom. Aaron also thought about obtaining infinite wisdom from the Fountain of Wisdom. Maybe the attribute intelligence column can directly reach the top. This also maximizes the potential of materialized magic. He is too lacking in intelligence, but the current priority attribute is energy intensity, and intelligence can only be temporarily stranded. And with his current intelligence, he couldn't display the maximum level of materialized magic of LV5 at all. Advertisement. Add not to mention the LV6 and LV7 at the back. Yet gaining wisdom from the Fountain of Wisdom is only a matter of thinking. For him, the Fountain of Wisdom is too strange and too mysterious. Before he has enough knowledge and strength, it is the most stupid behavior to rashly acquire power far beyond his own ability. And, as far as Aaron knows, getting wisdom from the Fountain of Wisdom definitely comes with a price. Whether it's Odin in mythology or Thor in the comics, they gouged out their eyes and sacrificed them. Odin only lost one eye, Thor lost two. Aaron's strength is much worse than theirs. Maybe the Fountain of Wisdom still doesn't like his eyes. Therefore, the most practical thing is to improve your own strength. When the strength comes up, you can have everything. Today, the most useful use of the mysterious Fountain of Wisdom for Aaron is magic. Before crossing, there is a saying that the magical energy of Asgard and even the 9 realms comes from the World Tree, and the Fountain of Wisdom is one of the bridges. The relationship between Asgard and the World Tree is like Camartage and the Dimension Mephisto. The former needs to obtain energy from the latter. While Asgard gains energy, it also has to pay a corresponding price. Aaron didn't know the cost. Maybe Ragnarok was one of the costs. This is a cycle. The Ezra will repeat the eternal cycle of Ragnarok and rebirth without end. Advertisement. Add if this is the case, then the Protoss who are as strong as the Ezra are just puppets being manipulated. However, Aaron didn't get too entangled in this issue. His future is destined to transcend the 9 realms and the World Tree. Even if Ragnarok came, he could not affect him. When the gods fell, he was safe and sound. The magic that surrounds the Fountain of Wisdom is much stronger than that of Asgard. I can continuously absorb magic power from the Fountain of Wisdom. As long as I don't leave here, then I won't be troubled by magic power anymore. However, this is only a stopgap measure. We must find a portable energy source to replace the Fountain of Wisdom. Only in this way can we ensure that no matter where we are, we can continuously improve our strength and maintain peak combat effectiveness. Aaron's brain is spinning wildly. The energy absorption of LV6 is fully capable of absorbing unknown energy from the air to supplement the loss while he is consuming mana. Near the Fountain of Wisdom, his strength will usher in a period of rapid growth. But Aaron wasn't satisfied with that. The Fountain of Wisdom cannot be carried with you, and it is destined to be only a transitional solution. Follow-up plans will continue. The next first goal is a casket of ancient winters. Energy absorption is currently unable to absorb primary energy. The eternal fire is nearly infinite in power, but its master, Surti, is still alive. Aaron is not sure if he can absorb the power of the eternal fire after getting it. Advertisement. Add the casket of ancient winters is different. The casket of ancient winters has lost its true owner. Lorf and Loki are controlling it by virtue of their racial identities, and cannot exert their full power. In view of this, Aaron is confident that he can absorb the energy safely. Most of all, Lorf is clearly a softie. Loki can kill him with one shot, and Aaron can do the same. Lorf is also not like Surti, who almost has the characteristics of immortality, and has a bug-like power of fate. Even if he is killed, he is destined to appear again in the future. Because Ragnarok is inevitable. Surti, as the most critical figure among them, will definitely appear. In other words, Eren killed Surti for the eternal fire, and before Ragnarok arrives, it is estimated that it will be difficult to really take charge of the eternal fire. In addition, Eren and Lorf still have a feud against their father and mother. No matter what, Lorf must die. Naturally, the casket of ancient winters became Eren's primary target. Next, Eren settled down and began to practice magic. With the support of a huge energy source, Eren cast a large-scale phantom environment magic around him in a very grand manner. In this way, even if Frost Titan and Heimdall set their sights here, they will not be able to find Eren, but Eren can cast magic at will without worrying about being discovered. The magic that ascends first. The Portal. Chapter 48 Teleportation Across Galaxies! The plan to find the Fountain of Wisdom is absolutely correct. With the support of a huge energy source, the progress of learning magic is completely different from before. Teleportation magic is a high-level magic that consumes a lot of mana. Even old Loki, who has lived for an unknown amount of time, can't last long. It is a bottomless pit with more than depth, and the consumption will double as the teleportation distance and maintenance time increase. If Eren wanted to improve teleportation magic, he would have to alternate between meditation and teleportation, and energy absorbing would take more time than practicing teleportation magic. Now it is different. Here, Eren can open energy absorbing. The energy near the Fountain of Wisdom seems almost infinite. Every time energy absorbing, it's enough to practice teleportation magic for a long time. In less than a day, the teleportation magic has been upgraded to LV5. Eren at the moment has a better understanding of why Kamar-Taj is so keen on Lone Mojo. Asgard learns magic step by step, often taking hundreds of years to take shape. However, the magician of Kamar-Taj only needs 10 years or even a few years to cultivate a big magician. It is even easier to use long-distance teleportation, and there is no magic power consumption at all. After all, the magic they use is borrowed from the dimension Mephisto, not their own, so it doesn't hurt to use it. At this point, Asgard's magic system is far behind. The requirements for blood are higher. Perhaps only Odin with the power of Odin, and Thor with the power of Thor can do what Kamar-Taj did. Others are more like Heimdall, using 1 or 2 dark energy transmissions and then stopping. So much so that Kong has powerful magic, but dare not use it at will. Even the formed magicians, the usual task is to enchant, not to go to the battlefield. No wonder the status of the magician has been underappreciated for so long. Thinking of this, Eren felt that Irene's dream might never come true. If the status of a magician is to be improved, what is needed is not 1 or 2 magician heroes, but reforms from magic energy absorption. There must be a more efficient energy growth method to allow magician to move from behind the scenes to the foreground. Eren's method of improving magic is limited to himself and cannot be popularized by the public. Even if his magical strength surpassed Thor and Odin, became the new god of magic, and became the most powerful magician, the magicians of Asgard could not fundamentally improve their status. Still can only be reduced to the vassal of the soldiers. Eren shook his head. He couldn't think of a way to solve this problem for the time being. Moreover, he does not have the mind to solve it at present. His most important purpose is to become stronger. Others are things that I occasionally think about in my spare time. Return of consciousness. Eren looked at the upgraded teleportation magicka space teleportation, LV5. In fact, during this wave of promotion and teleportation magic, he has not really experienced the portal yet. Using the portal does not mean passing through the gate to gain proficiency. It only needs to completely build the gate. According to Frigga's explanation of portal magic, the simplest portal can only transmit the location within sight. Advertisement. This is not because only such a short distance can be teleported, but because the mana consumption within this distance is controllable. Once beyond the line of sight, there may be a situation where the magic power is not enough. In addition, there is a more important point. Once beyond the line of sight, the constructed portal is likely to be unstable, or even impossible to construct successfully. If the portal is unstable, space turbulence may occur, and if you don't pay attention, you will be torn apart by space. The reason for the unsuccessful construction may be that there is a positional deviation, and there are other substances at the teleportation location, resulting in the failure of the portal construction. It may also be that the distance is too far, and the pure magic power is not enough. When the teleportation magic reaches a certain level, it can be teleported freely in the entire Asgard domain. However, it is quite difficult to achieve this level of teleportation magic. According to Frigg, even she couldn't do that. It's not because of insufficient magic attainments, but simply because of insufficient magic reserves. Since Frigga became a queen, she has fallen behind in magic cultivation, and her magic power is not as good as Loki at the moment. As for Loki, maybe he can't even teleport magic. Maybe, but Eren never saw him use it. Therefore, in Asgard now, Odin has the highest attainment in teleportation magic. According to Frigga, on the basis of teleportation magic, Odin has developed a more powerful teleportation magic, and already has the ability to teleport across galaxies. Eren is still skeptical about this because this teleportation ability can be granted. Odin once bestowed this ability on Heimdall, giving him the ability to control the transmission of dark energy. According to this situation, the transmission of dark energy may be the result of strengthening by using the power of Odin, and also has the ability to bless others. But these are guesses. Rather than guessing the source of Odin's intergalaxy teleportation, it is better to look at the limit of space teleportation. The first experiment, of course, did not directly teleport across the galaxy. The location chosen by Eren is the secret passage point. With a wave of his hand, he used the teleportation magic that he had practiced hundreds of times. Probably because the energy absorbed comes from the fountain of wisdom, the color of Eren's magic energy is different from that of Amora. It is golden. This is similar to Odin and Heimdall. The golden energy builds a circular channel. As for the other end of the portal, it is the place where I arrived at Jotunheim in my memory. After the instant construction was successful, Eren stepped into it. In the next second, we came to the entrance of the secret passage. Good job. Feeling the consumption of magic power in the body, almost a tenth of it was used up. Can you only use it 10 times? I don't know if it is possible to carry out intergalaxy teleportation under the heyday. Doing what he wanted, Eren first returned to the Fountain of Wisdom to recover his magic power, and then imagined the settlement of Asgard in his mind. Advertisement. Add the magic power in the body rushed out crazily along the hand. In a moment, a golden portal appeared in front of him. Successful. But it's still too much. Once you use this trick, you will lose 9 layers of energy, and your strength will be greatly reduced. Until the problem of mana reserves is completely resolved, it is best not to use this trick unless it is absolutely necessary. Otherwise you won't be able to come back in a short time after teleportation. Eren was happy, but also quite a headache. He managed to teleport across galaxies like Heimdall, and he can even teleport others, but the consumption of magic power is too great. If someone shoots at him at this time, it is likely to be in danger because of the magic problem. After some experiments, Eren dismissed the portal directly. Go back to Asgard now, and it will take a long time to recover and teleport back, which is completely unnecessary. Next, it is better to further improve the magic. While transforming energy absorbing into its own magic power, Eren conceived an improvement plan. The intergalaxy portal is enough. Continue to improve. There is no need at present. Might as well practice energy shield. Further increase life-saving ability. Soon, the magic power was restored. Eren started a new round of magic upgrade. At the same time, Asgard. During the few days when Eren left, no one could see through Eren's authenticity. In the past few days, Frigga has approached Eren twice, but they all use learning magic as an excuse, and the teaching progress is temporarily postponed. Frigga never suspected anything. It is true that Eren's magic ability is very strong, but learning magic is not that simple. No matter how smart a person is, he needs time to study. As for Loki, he passed by Eren's place many times. Until now, he has not noticed the flaw in that invisibility magic contest. He thinks that he is still better than Eren in invisibility magic. That's why he passed by Eren's residence for the first time, and checked whether Eren was going out every day, so as to continue the teaching last time. To be honest, the experience of teaching magic and monsters was so wonderful. Loki really wants to do it again. However, his dream didn't last long. In order to avoid Loki's entanglement, Eren directly controlled the duplication, and taught Loki a lesson using invisibility magic. After that, Loki was never around again. That's how it finally cleared up. In addition to Loki, several people in Thor also went to drink with Eren. Although some time has passed, people's enthusiasm for Eren has not diminished. In particular, Eren hardly appeared in public after the battle, which added a bit of mystery to his identity as a magical monster. The image of a hard-working magician comes to mind. Enthusiastic people, after asking Thor several times, they finally couldn't dodge it, so they could only drag Eren to a few receptions. Fortunately, only part of the mind can be used to control the materialized duplication to complete most of the scenes, without revealing the truth like last time, or else they would have to find other excuses to deal with the verbal criticism of Thor and the others. Throughout Asgard, Probably only Amara has a faint awareness of Aaron's problem. She is a teacher at the Academy of Magic, and she also knows that Aaron has evaded Frigga's teaching arrangements several times. Just imagine a monster who is so interested in magic. How could he give up learning new magic? The only possibility is that there is another, more important matter distracting Aaron's attention. Combined with previous experiences, Amara boldly guessed that the real Aaron may have entered Jotunheim through some unknown means, and embarked on the path to find the Fountain of Wisdom. The idea is scary. It's frightening to think about. The Titans of Jotunheim are very strong. Even in Odin's presence, it would be impossible to defeat the Frost Titans in such numbers. Moreover, she has also followed Bifrost. Recently, there has been no sign of Bifrost opening. Heimdall's loyalty to Odin is beyond doubt, and it is impossible to let Aaron go without permission. If it were Thor, it would be possible. He is recognized as the future king of Asgard. If he goes to tell Heimdall, the other party may give it convenience for the sake of the crown prince. But Aaron definitely doesn't have that face. So, how exactly did Aaron get to Jotunheim? And how to find the Fountain of Wisdom in the endless Frost Titan? After all this time, has Aaron found the Fountain of Wisdom? What kind of power did you get from the spring water? How powerful is he now? The more Amara thought about it, the more frightened she became, and the more she thought about it, the more flustered she became. If Aaron has really achieved these two impossible things, does it mean that his strength has grown to an unfathomable level? I will never be able to escape Aaron's control. But if Aaron can really do it, being his subordinate does not seem to be an unacceptable thing. Amara muttered softly. Unknowingly, she developed a kind of reverence and obedience to Aaron for the strong. It is quite difficult for her to have this kind of mentality. After all, she is the enchantress who dared to rebel against Odin's rule. Only by being stronger than Odin is it possible to gain her loyalty. Chapter 49 First Class Superhero, Learn to Enchant! The cultivation of magic is always so easy for people to forget the time. Especially in the case of extremely abundant magic power. When you can use magic without pressure, it will bring you an unprecedented magic experience. Aaron didn't have the other Asgard magicians who struggled with lack of magic, nor the Kamar-Taj magicians who worried about the side effects of borrowing magic. He can practice and improve his magic to his heart's content, and with the ability of God's reward, he perfectly interprets what it means to be a coward. Every day, the strength can be increased. Even every hour has a new harvest. Since Aaron collected a large amount of food in advance, in Jotunheim, where resources are scarce, there is no need to worry about the supply problem for the time being. This feeling of rapidly improving strength without external interference makes people addicted to it. At the moment, the attribute template has changed drastically. A tilde Aaron. A tilde 1000 5000. A tilde ability God rewards those who work hard. Skills, energy absorption LV6, materialization magic LV5, fighting technique LV5, sword technique LV5, spear technique LV5, space storage LV5, mind barrier LV5, psychokinesis LV5, energy explosion LV5, energy shield LV5, space teleportation LV5, mind magic LV5, group invisibility magic LV5. Attributes: Intelligence 3, Strength 4, Speed 8, A3, 4, Endurance 4, 5, Energy Strength 5, Fighting Skill 6. Strength Evaluation, Surface Level, First Class Superhero. Advertisement. Due to the existence of psychokinesis, Aaron can fly at supersonic speed, so the upper limit of the speed column is 4. The ups and downs of stamina are due to the energy shield. With Aaron's current energy reserves and the magic level of the energy shield, he can easily resist bullets and even missile attacks. Compared to the Asgard 3 warriors and Sif, his defense is much stronger. Even surpassed Loki. Although Loki looks very hip, his defensive power is definitely commendable. Not everyone survives Hulk's hard falls. Not everyone can face Hawkeye's explosive arrows without even breaking the skin. Anyway, Loki also has the royal blood of Frost Titan. Even if it is a defective version, his congenital physical fitness is stronger than that of ordinary Asgardians. Definitely, Loki's physical fitness has also been complained about, such as being subdued by ordinary people from the time administration. According to common sense, his magic is banned, and his physical fitness will not be sealed. What's more, he is not an Asgard, but an Ice Titan, and his racial advantage is there. Perhaps, it is simply a plot need. In addition to speed and endurance, it is worth mentioning that the energy intensity has increased by 1. The most important thing is that the strength evaluation has finally been promoted, stepping from the second-rate Premier League to the first-rate Premier League club. At least in the early stage, It is finally not cannon fodder. Seeing this, Aaron also smiled. Although judging from the major attributes, his strength is actually not a first-class superhero. Whether it is Hulk, Thor or Captain Marvel, he is not comparable in attributes. Even the attributes of some second-rate superheroes are no worse than him. Advertisement. But who called him a magician? Magicians' comprehensive combat power has never been simply viewed on the stats panel. Their magic is the most unpredictable. Just like Doctor Strange, his attributes are definitely not as good as Thor, but he uses the characteristics of borrowing magic, combined with the many magics he has learned. Even Thor can't take him down. The powerful Loki was even killed in person. As for Aaron, much less to say. All level LV5 magic is enough to explain everything. It is rare for other magicians to be able to raise a certain magic to LV5, which is enough to be called an authority in the field of magic. And what about Aaron? Experts in all fields. In terms of fighting, it would be a second-rate going game. Even if it is a first-class superhero, it is absolutely worthy. In fact, with Aaron at the moment's strength, even if he faced Thor, he might win. At least it would put Thor in a tough fight. He knows too much magic and is too comprehensive. Turn Thor around with ease. If done properly, it can even cause a death crisis. Advertisement. Thor is very strong, whether it is strength, defense or vitality. It is crushing for Aaron. But Aaron's space teleportation magic, mind magic, and materialized illusion magic, if used properly, can definitely pose a threat to Thor. Moreover, according to this speed of improvement, it won't be long before Aaron can catch up with Thor on the stats panel. He is confident that he will surpass in energy intensity in a short time. Fighting skills may even have been on par with Thor. Definitely. And intelligence. Aaron doesn't think he's less intelligent than Thor. He also has a potential advantage in his knowledge of the plot. Totally slap Thor. If you want to continue to improve your current strength, the only thing you need is time. Before continuing to improve, maybe you can consider enchanting magic. Aaron took out the enchanted spellbook, which he hadn't touched since he had read it for a while. Enchanting magic does not improve strength much, and it will take a lot of time to research. And he also discovered that the power of enchantment depends on the magician's own energy level and magical attainments. Even if I learned the enchanting magics before, I couldn't make a satisfactory artifact. It is different now. Relying on the fountain of wisdom with almost inexhaustible energy, as well as a variety of powerful magic, he is confident in creating a worthy artifact. Then, enchanting magic should be included in the learning plan. Chapter 50, The Coronation Ceremony. Learning enchantment magic is no easier than any other kind of magic. This magic has a deep knowledge. As good can live without a combat magician, but not without an enchanting magician. The weapons in the hands of every warrior and the equipment on their bodies are all enchanted by magicians. The defense against energy weapons is almost full. Neither human bullets nor Dark Elves' energy guns are enough to pose a threat to ordinary soldiers who are on guard. The weapon in the hands of the Dark Elves can easily crush the thick stone pillars hugged by two people. This shows that the enchantment defense is powerful. That thin layer of energy protection allowed them to advance steadily like tanks in the face of long-range output from other races. Moreover, their equipment is all made of very metal, with strong physical defense and excellent magic conductivity, allowing them to withstand most conventional weapons in the universe. Weapons that can break their defenses can be called artifacts. If the Uru metal allows them to ignore the blades of other races, then the enchantment gives them the confidence to despise the energy weapons of other civilizations. After investing in the study of enchanting, Aaron found that if he wanted to learn this magic, it would take a longer time than learning other magic. It even involves Asgard's technology. It is worth mentioning that Asgard's enchantment and technology complement each other. Advertisement. It belongs to the kind of relationship where I am in you and you are in me. With this in mind, Aaron decisively set his sights on one of the plates. The enchantment of this plate is different from other parts and is quite special. The difficulty is also relatively large, but for Aaron, it was quite appropriate. Because this part of enchanting knowledge is about how to impart the magic you have learned to an object in a special form, so that it has the same magical characteristics. For example, if you enchant a weapon on the earth, and endow it with space storage magic, you can increase the ammunition capacity, and transform a rifle with 30 rounds of magazines into one without changing its performance and file size. Machine guns with hundreds of rounds. Or add invisibility magic to a cloak to make it have invisibility characteristics and become a veritable invisibility cloak. But there is a problem here, that is, due to the different magic, the enchanted Yuan Yi is not the same. Many magicians don't have enough time and magic power to learn as many magic enchanting methods as possible, so there is a certain phenomenon that they only study the magic they are best at. But this problem is not a problem for Aaron. As long as he studies hard and practice hard, he can continuously improve the level of enchantment, and then perfectly reproduce his own magic on other objects, and create artifacts in batches. As for mana consumption, it is not a problem. With energy absorption in hand, just continue to suck when there is no energy. Next, Aaron devoted himself to the research of enchanting magic. Advertisement. As a future god of magic, he must be proficient in enchantment magic, otherwise it would be completely unreasonable. Time is passing bit by bit in learning. During this time, Asgard was not at peace. The last incident of rebellion in Vanaheim was not accidental, nor was it the only one. Although the Nine Realms have been relatively peaceful in the past 1,000 years, it is only compared to before. The countries within the Nine Realms are also more warlike and more ambitious than the last. The Dark Elves who tried to pull the universe into endless darkness again, the Frost Titan who tried to bring the Earth into a new ice age, and the Flame Titan who started Ragnarok. In comparison, the current rebellion in Vanaheim is nothing more than small troubles, mild and over the top. They do not have a complete kingdom of God, and their forces are extremely scattered, but it is also because of this that they can often set off rebellions and want to become the new Lord of Warner. Odin does not allow Vanaheim to rally again to challenge Asgard's rule, nor does he want anyone to start the War of the Nine Realms again. Therefore, Vanaheim has become a novice village to Hönthor. At the same time, in order to prevent the recurrence of Aaron stealing the limelight last time, Odin deliberately ignores Aaron, and suggests that Frigga holds Aaron back and lets Thor bring his other friends to suppress other minor unrest. One of them stepped into the kingdom of Flame Titan. But this time I didn't face the Titan King Surti. Advertisement. Strictly speaking, the Flame Titan's rebellion this time is also a temptation under Surti's signal. Test whether Asgard is still as fast as before. Thor lived up to Odin's trust. He brings victory back to Asgard. The name of Thor resounds throughout Asgard. Although Aaron was not in Asgard during this time, Odin's calculations could be heard clearly even in Jotunheim is far away. Steal the limelight does not exist. He doesn't have the energy to steal the limelight right now. Isn't it good to learn magic? Isn't the power boost enticing enough? Why go to Playhouse and bully some children? Aaron wanted to continue learning, but a piece of news circulated recently made him have to stop and return to Asgard again. Because Odin is already ordering a coronation, Thor is about to become the new king! Chapter 51 Enchanting Equipment, Invisibility Cloak! Did time pass so fast? The coronation ceremony. Remember that the coronation ceremony was finally suspended due to the invasion of the Frost Titan. Hearing this news, Aaron quickly thought of the timeline he was in at this moment. If nothing else, after the coronation ceremony, Thor will become the new king of Asgard. This also explains why Odin has sent Thor one after another in recent times. It turned out that it was to increase the chips for Thor's superiority and deepen the impression of Thor's bravery and strength in the hearts of the people of Asgard. Combined with the development of the plot, Aaron thought of the core of the problem. Odin is really old. Presumably he already had a premonition that his time was running out. Because from Thor 1, Odin began to withdraw from the core of power, and in the next few years, go to the earth to retire, and then enter the Soul Castle. It is also from this moment that Asgard enters the countdown to its demise. The once powerful Esa Protoss is about to usher in Ragnarok. Thinking of this, Aaron felt no joy, only a sense of urgency. For others, the coronation was a rare event in Asgard, and one that deserved to be celebrated. But for Aaron, it means that a big event is coming, and all forces will appear one after another in the future. Stage the Marvel version of the Dance of Demons. Time. If you give me more time to develop, let alone Hela and Surti, even if it's the Celestial group, so what? Aaron shook his head, not thinking about these things anymore. Fortunately, there is already a certain amount of self-protection strength now. As long as you don't go too wild, there will be no danger. Besides, there are still a few years to improve before Odin is completely out of the game. During this period of time, it was enough to raise his strength to an objective level. After simply packing up the equipment, Aaron opened the portal, came to the secret passage, and wanted to go back. Advertisement. However, a familiar person came from afar. Loki. Aaron was very surprised to see someone coming. Thinking about it, I was relieved again. Yes, the Frost Titan was brought by Loki during the coronation ceremony. Maybe Loki also cut some kind of deal with Laufey. Otherwise, why would Lauf say that Odin is surrounded by traitors? Regarding Loki's calculation, Aaron thought about it and chose to ignore it. To some extent, the chaotic Asgard is easier to fish in troubled waters. Just take this opportunity to get the casket of ancient winters. With this in mind, Aaron, who was in an invisible state, sat and watched Loki leave before stepping into the tunnel. As soon as he got home, Aaron cancelled the materialized duplication, and then walked towards the Academy of Magic. As a magician who loves to learn, why not learn more magic? Frigg still has a lot of useful magic in her hands. But on the way, Aaron was stopped. The people who stopped him were none other than Thor and the others. "Hey Aaron, you're finally getting out of the cabin." Seeing Aaron, Thor and the others looked very happy. Aaron rolled his eyes. "Stop it. If you're asking me to drink, it's still free. I'm just going to ask Tanhu about magic. The drinking thing should be left after the coronation ceremony, and I will have a good drink with you then." Aaron ... You've changed. Thor patted Aaron on the shoulder, and said earnestly, "I think back then, the few of us were regulars at the wine table, and you would never refuse our invitation." Advertisement ad. "But what about now? You've actually moved on and abandoned your friends for the sake of magic." "My heart hurts." Aaron patted Thor's hand away in disgust, and said concisely, "Get out." After getting to know Thor, Aaron realized how unreliable this carefree Thor is usually. He is obviously a conceited, reckless man, but sometimes he is more naughty than a girl. Can you imagine a man nearly 2 meters tall, winking at you in front of tens of thousands of people at a very formal ceremony? Whether other people can do it, Aaron doesn't know, but he's pretty sure it's nothing to Thor. And even more outrageous things than this can be done. Seeing Thor's still smiling face, Aaron held his forehead and sighed. "Thor, what do you think the king would think if he knew how you are now?" "He's going to think, my boy is awesome," Thor replied without thinking. "I doubt if the blood of the God King is flowing in your body." Aaron's eyes were full of doubts. Thor patted his chest to show his bravery. "Otherwise, what do you think?" "What flows in my body is definitely the purest and oldest power of God." "Wine and cheese?" Aaron shrugged and didn't say anything, but said helplessly, "You won the narcissism." When Aaron conceded defeat, the others laughed too. They have long been familiar with it. Who Thor is, as his friends, they know it well. Although the other party is funny from time to time, it doesn't make people upset, but makes people smile. It is precisely this kind of Thor who has no scheming, honesty, and approachability that makes it easier for them to support him. Unlike Loki, who usually likes to use magic to tease people, and his scheming is even more unacceptable. Advertisement ad. Except for Thor, all of them are somewhat repulsed by Loki. Say Cow Cow. Cow Cow arrives. While talking about Loki, Loki also arrived. Judging by his appearance, it is obvious that he is also on his way to the Magic Academy. Since several people rejected Loki, they subconsciously searched for other topics when they saw him coming over. "By the way, Aaron, what magic have you been learning recently?" "This is the first time I've seen you take so long to learn a certain spell." "I heard that in order to learn this magic, you didn't even find Tanhu to learn new magic." Sif asked rather curiously. Everyone, including Thor, looked over. The Academy of Magic is not a military forbidden place, and the news about Aaron repeatedly dodging the teaching arrangement of the Queen has been spread long ago. They also know Aaron's dedicated research spirit, and the freshness of learning magic cannot be faked. Everyone wonders what Aaron has been up to all this time. Loki, who had just arrived, pricked up his ears. He was also very puzzled that Aaron hadn't come to the Magic Academy during this time. "I'm afraid that Aaron has learned some terrible magic behind his back." "It's nothing, just studied some enchanting magic." Aaron responded by throwing out enchanting casually. "Enchantment? Have you learned it?" As soon as Sif opened his mouth, he immediately refuted. "No, with your ability, whether you can learn it or not is the problem." "How far has your enchantment magic reached now?" "Generally, I just made some small gadgets." Aaron took out a cloak and introduced it to everyone. "Not long ago, I learned the invisibility magic from Tanhu." "No, after being exposed to enchanting magic, I wondered if I could give the invisibility magic to the equipment, so that people with invisibility magic can also use invisibility. Think about it, if our fighters can enter the invisible state at any time, what effect will it have on the enemy?" "What effect?" A few people brought the enemy into thought for a while, and their faces changed instantly. Chapter 52, Shocked. Loki was publicly captured by Thor. Imagine a group of warriors who are very strong in defense and attack, and have learned the stealth of the assassin magician. When the enemy was still waiting, they suddenly launched an attack. Definitely kill them by surprise. Asgard's fighters are already so strong that they almost have no opponents. If they can be invisible, they are simply invincible. "Did you succeed?" Loki looked a little gloomy. The invisibility cloak had worked, which wasn't a good thing for him. What he likes to use most is invisibility magic. If everyone knows it, then he is still playing a fart. Aaron nodded, and showed the cloak in his hand to several people. "This is it. May I try it?" Thor looked eager to try. "Can." As soon as the words fell, Thor grabbed the cloak, put it on his back, and muttered, "The color is wrong. It can't compare with mine. I suggest you try red, so that it can match my armor." Thor, I didn't prepare it for you. If you don't like it, you can give others a try first. As soon as Aaron grabbed the edge of the cloak, he wanted to take it away. However, Thor's movements were faster. He turned around and avoided. I'm just kidding. In fact, black is also pretty good. At worst, you can add color to it. By the way, can you still see me? Thor raised his hand and danced to several people twice, trying to make sure he was invisible. If you want to be invisible, say invisibility in your head, and if you want to uninvisibility, say disarm, Aaron explained. Thor frowned. It sounds like a high-level stealth. When Thor yelled, a golden light appeared on the cloak, and then Thor's entire body was hidden. Successful. I really can't see it. The others were amazed to see this scene. Fandral stepped forward, reaching out to touch where Thor was originally standing, but it was empty. Thor, you ... I'll go. Why don't you touch my ass? Advertisement. Fandral felt a hand patting his back, took a step forward, and immediately drew his sword and looked behind vigilantly. Okay Thor, today I must find you and chop off your salty pig's hand. After speaking, he rushed forward, trying to find Thor's location. However, after several searches, there was still nothing. Seeing Fandral's miserable state, Vorstik quickly took out the axe from behind and blocked it. I tell you, don't come here. Sif also took out the long sword from behind, and glanced around sharply. Thor, you should know what to do and what not to do. Even Hogan, who didn't like to talk the most, silently took out the meteor hammer and swung it around behind him. Not far from her, Thor looked at the group of people ready for battle, feeling a little tricky, and then turned his eyes to Loki. Isn't there a goal? At the moment Loki is focused on finding Thor. He paid no attention to the actions of the three warriors of Asgard. After all, he's a big magician, so he needs to use these ridiculous methods to defend against Thor. It's understandable that he couldn't find Aaron under invisibility, but he couldn't even find an invisibility cloak, right? According to common sense, the enchantment strength on the equipment is not as strong as that of the enchanter originally. But if the other party is Aaron, Loki is not sure if the same applies to the other party. It was just a moment of thinking, and Loki didn't even notice that Thor had touched behind him. Snapped. Loki's thoughts were completely shattered by this slap. He turned around stiffly, gritted his teeth and said, Big brother, you actually snapped. I'll fight for you. In a rage, Loki directly used energy to explode, and the violent energy rushed to the surroundings in an instant. There was a bang, and the surroundings were in a mess. Stop playing. Stop playing. Don't be serious. I'm just joking with you. Out of the range of the blast, Thor emerged and begged Loki for mercy. Are you kidding? You try this. Loki waved his hand with an unwavering expression, and a writhing poisonous snake suddenly appeared beside Thor. Advertisement. No way. You come again. Don't try to stab me again this time. Thor quickly summoned Mjolnir, and decisively knocked the poisonous snake away with a hammer. Loki, you turned into a snake and stabbed me when you were 8 years old. Do you think I'll fall for it again? Thor said triumphantly. Snort. Seeing that Thor is no longer afraid of snakes, Loki can only snort. No way. Who told me that he was not Thor's opponent? Damn it. To be tricked by this guy Thor. It's all your fault. Loki glared at Aaron. If he hadn't developed an invisibility cloak that was so effective and let Thor experiment, how could he be ashamed in public? Even worse, it was actually seen by the three warriors of Asgard. He can already think of the most discussed news in Asgard tomorrow. Shock. In broad daylight, the second Prince Loki was killed by Thor in public. No, I can't think about it anymore. By the way, the weather these days is not suitable for going out. Maybe it's better to stay at home. Good stuff. Aaron, what do you want me to do with this thing? It's very interesting. Thor takes off his cloak and loves it. Before, he was always being teased by Loki. However, after getting the invisibility cloak today, he managed to deflate Loki. The mood is called a comfort. No, absolutely not. Before Aaron could speak, the others shouted in unison. I can give it to anyone, but I can't give it to you. Thor, you are Thor. This kind of sneaky thing is definitely not what you should do. The invisibility cloak should be left to us for safekeeping. Sif snatched the invisibility cloak, looked at the others with sharp eyes again, and said in a rather cold tone, I will personally report this to the King of God, and no one can use the invisibility without the permission of the God King. Cloak. Also, if I let someone use the invisibility cloak to enter the women's bathhouse. HMPH. Advertisement. Especially you, Fandral. What is the biggest function of the invisibility cloak? Stealth. Then, you can enter any place at will. This is extremely dangerous for women. This kind of thing must be avoided from happening. That's why Sif warned everyone so solemnly. The result of Thor's use of the invisibility cloak just now has come out. Even experienced warriors like them can't find a trace, and Loki, who is a great magician, has been brutally bullied. Even Thor, who has always been relatively honest, will change his usual cuteness after getting the invisibility cloak. What about other people? Once the invisibility cloak is popularized, and there is no corresponding countermeasure, the consequences are unimaginable. Fandral raised his hand, and said in Sif's sharp gaze, "Well, I'm not that kind of person." "Who are you?" "I know very well, playboy." Sif didn't give him a good look. "Well, you're right." Fandral shrugged without saying anything. Facing such a serious Sif, they dare not say anything at all. It is not because Sif is a woman that she is modest. It's because Sif is the best of them all. Yes, they can't beat Sif. Sif is the strongest and fiercest warrior in Asgard. Despite the ridicule of others, she proved step by step with her efforts that women can also become the strongest. Definitely, royals like Odin and Thor are excluded here. Eren, if you have other invisibility cloaks in your hand, I hope you don't give them to anyone else before I come back. Sif looked at Eren and begged. "No problem. I haven't made many of these things," Eren said indifferently. "Then please." Sif took the invisibility cloak and left vigorously. "Others, you look at me, and I look at you, looking at each other without saying a word." After a little while, Fandral said excitedly, "Besides the invisibility cloak, do you have other good things?" "Have!" Chapter 53, Thor exploding with full power. "Have." Eren gave an affirmative answer, and then said, "In addition to making the invisibility cloak, I also developed a projectile throwing object, the kind that can explode." Eren took out a round object, removed a needle, and tossed it far away. The round object exploded instantly after falling to the ground. A shallow pit was blasted. "I heard that there is a weapon in Midgard called a grenade, so I combined the energy explosion magic to create a similar throwing object. I call it a magic grenade. Depending on the magic power given, its power is also different. It's the smallest one, and I have a bigger one." Seeing this scene, the others were obviously not as interested in facing the invisibility cloak. Because they are Asgard people, they are regarded as gods by Midgard people. When they look at the people of Midgard, they have a strong sense of superiority. As soon as I heard that the inspiration for this thing came from some kind of weapon in Midgard, I lost interest all of a sudden. In their view, the people of Midgard are a symbol of backwardness. What is that to see there? Moreover, the power of the magic grenade shown by Eren is indeed not worthy of attention. With armor protection, any Asgard soldier can easily withstand this level of damage. What else? It's not the only thing, is it? Thor glanced back and asked. Advertisement. Definitely yes. Try casting thunder on me. Eren pointed to himself, motioning for Thor to shoot. What? You asked me to cast thunder on you? As soon as Thor heard this, he quit immediately. Eren, I never shoot my partner. And you are my partner, one of the best. Seeing this, Eren had no choice but to summon a materialized duplication with his hand, and then handed the armor to him, saying, "Then you try it, it will be fine now." Thor hesitated for a while, looking at the duplication that was exactly the same as Eren. He was still a little bit hesitant to do it. "Tell me first, what exactly do you want me to try?" "Try the defense of my enchanted armor. I have given it a small energy shield. According to my calculations, ordinary damage cannot damage it as long as you don't use all your strength." Just as Eren finished speaking, a voice full of surprise suddenly remembered. "Wait, energy shield? Do you mean energy shield magic? How did you know it?" "The Queen Mother didn't tell me." Speaking of this, Loki immediately realized that he was suspected of surveillance, and immediately changed his words. I mean, you didn't ask the Queen for advice these days. When did you learn this magic?" Eren raised his eyebrows and said, "The Queen once said that I can ask any teacher in the School of Magic about this question." He did not say who taught him the power shield magic. The three names of a Morala are not suitable for speaking in front of everyone. After all, everyone is disgusted by the name. Once they say it, there is a high probability that they will make Eren stop interacting with each other and babble for a long time. Loki frowned, feeling more and more out of his calculations. "I thought that I could know what magic Eren had learned just by wandering around Frigga's place often." Advertisement. But forget that the other party has this privilege. Without his knowledge, Eren also learned a magic that even he didn't know. It's just too hard to guard against. "Eren, you are indeed my lifelong enemy in magic." Loki has a headache. He finds that as long as it is related to Eren, he is unpredictable, and the other party can always surprise people in unexpected ways. After being interrupted by Loki, Thor finally chose to trust Eren. He is very optimistic about Eren's magic, and now he is only shooting a duplication. Even if the energy shield in Eren's mouth can't resist it, it won't really cause any damage. Then, Thor held MJ8 on a high. Dazzling thunder condenses. In the next second, the thunder pierced the sky and rushed straight to the materialized duplication. When thunder was about to approach, duplication's battle armor seemed to be stimulated, and immediately expanded a golden barrier to block Thunder's attack. Seeing this, Thor's interest rose again. Come again. This time, he increased his energy output. A larger thunder snake slammed into it with a sting. Although the energy shield was still not damaged, the entity duplication was knocked back again and again by the impact. Simply no problem. Okay, it's actually able to block this level of attack, then try this again. Advertisement. Add the 2 defeats aroused Thor's desire to win, and this time, he almost used all his strength. The sky is affected by its divine power, and dark clouds are already gathering. Thunderbolts danced wantonly in the air. Then, under the guidance of Thor, thunder broke through the energy shield in one fell swoop with unprecedented power. Its power was only restrained for a moment, and then continued down, sending Aaron duplication and his battle armor into the air. As expected, under the attack of Thor's almost full spell, the entity duplication without other measures was directly shattered. Only a broken armor was left in place. Seeing this scene, Aaron's heart skipped a beat. Is this Thor's strength? This is still his unawakened state. Once awakened, under full attack, he can even knock Hela offline for a while. LV5's energy shield is still too weak. I'm afraid, only an energy shield upgraded to LV6 or even LV7 can completely withstand Thor's thunder strike. Generally speaking, the enchantment on the equipment is not as good as the magic level of the enchanter originally. But Aaron is different. He has the ability to reward those who work hard, and he can already endow objects with magic that is equal to his own magic level. In other words, the energy shield activated by the entity duplication armor is no different from the energy shield he uses. If it were him to resist Thor's blow, if he didn't escape, he would definitely die. Definitely, he is a magician, so it is impossible to really confront Thor head-on. Thor's thunder is divine power, both in quality and quantity, much stronger than ordinary magic, and his level of magic is not enough to advance to become a god. Perhaps only by further improvement can it become a new god-level magic. Chapter 54 Loki moved? Shape-shifting exclamation mark, comma. I'm so sorry Aaron, I hacked your gear. After Thor destroyed the armor with one blow, he said in embarrassment. It's okay, I still have these things. Aaron waved his hand to show that he didn't care, and took out a similarly enchanted armor from the space. In fact, with his magical strength, there is no need for a battle armor with an LV5 energy shield engraved on it. But this piece of equipment has an advantage, that is, it can automatically activate the protection without actively using it. If faced with some sneak attacks, it may be able to play a gratifying role. Seeing that Aaron has other armors, Thor was relieved, and at the same time wondered, there is something wrong with this attack. Why do I feel that the protection of the energy shield is weaker? Based on my previous 2 attacks, even if the energy shield couldn't withstand my full blow, it wouldn't be so easy. Hearing Thor's question, Aaron was a little surprised. It seemed that Thor was the same as he remembered, thick and thin, and not a pure reckless man. In the test, you can also perceive the hidden details in the 3 protections. Enchanting equipment is just a dead thing after all. Even if I endow it with a powerful magic protection ability, I don't have a steady supply of magic power for it. When all the magic power above is consumed, the protection ability will be greatly reduced. The first 2 thunderbolts have already caused it to lose a certain amount of energy. When the 3rd attack falls, the energy is no longer enough to continue to support it, and it will naturally be easily crushed by the thunderbolt. This is the flaw of enchanted equipment, especially enchanted equipment that requires a lot of magic support. Its original protection depends entirely on the magic it is given and the magic that comes with it. When Aaron made the enchanted armor, he didn't give much mana reserve. After all, it's just an experiment. When it is time to create a god-level armor such as the Destroyer armor, it will not be too late to infuse a lot of magic power into it. It is also true that a battle armor that loses its magic power supply looks so vulnerable. This defect is actually a common phenomenon. Looking at the spears, sharp swords and even shields in the hands of all warriors, they have actually undergone various enchantments and are not melee weapons. If necessary, they can even unleash energy beams on the enemy. But they are not magicians. Once the magic power in the weapon is exhausted, the enchanted equipment will become ordinary metal equipment, and will no longer have the sharpness and protection bonus brought by enchantment. Advertisement. So it is generally unnecessary. They will not use energy attacks indiscriminately like other civilizations. Moreover, enchanted equipment is not the magician himself, and generally does not have the feature of automatic energy absorbing. Even though metal has strong magic conductivity and certain magic power reserves, it is still a relatively rare metal. The metal that can be mass-produced will not be so strong no matter how strong it is. Just like this quiz, if it was Aaron, although it would still be broken by Thor's full blow in the end, it would definitely last longer. So it is. It seems that my Meow hammer is the most powerful. I have never worried that it will not be able to take me to fly because of insufficient energy. Thor touched the Meow hammer like a dog, so proud that people couldn't help but beat him up. Loki was still thinking about other things, but when he heard Thor say that, he looked straight at MJ-A-Pilkrolna. Those salivating little eyes could hardly be hidden from a long distance away. Then his eyes moved up, staring at Thor resentfully. If I were the one who got MJ-A-Pilkrolna, maybe I'm Thor. And what about Thor? Odin is so eccentric. Why didn't you give me an artifact, but gave it to a reckless man instead? Unlike Loki, Aaron simply ignores Thor's self-satisfaction. Mjolnir is a product jointly created by Odin and Dwarf King, and it is also Odin at its peak. And how long has he been learning magic? The time to focus on enchanting magic is even less. Aaron didn't think he'd surpass Odin on the magical level so quickly. Even so, he still firmly believes that in the future, he will be able to create an artifact that surpasses Mjolnir and the Storm Axe. This battle armor is a good thing. For the sake of friends, can you help us get one of these things? Fandral leaned over with a flattering face. Although the test of the energy shield's defense was not perfect, it still attracted the attention of others. They will not underestimate its protective power because of this. As strong as Thor, it took 3 thunderbolts to break through its protection. If it were them, there would be nothing they could do until their energy was exhausted. Advertisement. They don't want Thor to have the power of Thor and control the thunder that destroys everything. If they can have such a piece of equipment on the battlefield, their chances of survival will be greatly increased. For things that can repay their lives, except for a powerful person like Thor, who would dislike it. Definitely no problem. In fact, I have prepared one for you all. Aaron raised his hand and summoned several llamas, each with streamers of mysterious magic patterns. Thank you, Aaron. I'll buy you a drink next time. Fandral took one away and played with it carefully. Hogan and Vostag also happily took over. Oops, I'm a little worried about whether I can put it on. I remember that I gained some weight in the past 2 days. The battle armor Vostag held in his hand was obviously a few sizes larger than the others, but he still had concerns about the wrong size. When others were drinking, he was drinking, but Moore was eating meat. Weight changes almost every day. Ha ha ha, I told you to control your mouth well. If you can't put on the battle armor, you may lose weight in the past few days. Fandale gloated. Losing weight? Oh no, that's definitely the cruelest thing. I can't lose my barbecue. Vostag was terrified, already thinking about that painful day. Don't worry, I specially chose the extra large size, which is much bigger than you were a month ago, so there will be no problem. Aaron smiled reassuringly. Good brother. Come to my house when you are free, and I will treat you to the best barbecue in Asgard. Vostag said gratefully. Well, it won't be a good show. Fandral shook his head regretfully, with an extremely disappointed expression. HMPH, wait for me, Fandral. Next time I will tell the girls all about your good things. No, I was wrong. Sighed. Loki looked at the armor left in Aaron's hand, and his heart moved. 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. There are still 3 pieces. Besides Sif and Thor, I have 1 too. Aaron's so good. Loki would love to get 1, but he's a little scared that Aaron doesn't have 1 for him. His relationship with the other party is not considered familiar. They even secretly regard each other as competitors. I want to laugh at every chance I get. Advertisement. And if it were him who was being targeted so much, he would definitely not give the other party a good look. Loki, take it. To Loki's surprise, Aaron threw him an enchanted armor. This confused Loki. I really have it? Did Aaron really consider himself a friend? But for some reason, the senses returned by the cold armor in his hand was still a little warm. Aaron didn't know what Loki was thinking. He just felt that it would be unreasonable not to prepare one for Loki. After all, we usually get together. Whether they are friends or not, at least in the eyes of others, the relationship between them is good. Coupled with Aaron's sense of Loki, it's not bad. I just feel repulsed based on the name and blood of the opponent's god of tricks. Moreover, it is just a battle armor with an LV5 energy shield, so there is no need to pay too much attention to it. Aaron looked to Thor, who waved his hand that he didn't need the armor. He is very satisfied with his battle armor, and it also contains a deeper meaning. That is, it represents the identity of the heir of Asgard, and there is no need to change a battle suit for a shield. Loki's armor also has meaning and is his favorite decoration. Aaron gave him just an ordinary armor, which didn't satisfy his aesthetics. But he is a magician, and it is easy to change the appearance of the armor. As soon as his hand touched it, the enchanted armor became exactly the same as the one on his body. Shape-shifting, one of Loki's signature spells. For this magic, Aaron is very greedy. This magic has a wide range of uses, and it is one of several magics he wants. By the way, This time I went to see Frigg, just in time to learn the shape-shifting technique. After chatting with a few people, Aaron greeted Thor and the others, and separated from them to the Academy of Magic. Come to the School of Magic. Frigg has been waiting for a long time. Chapter 55 Conjecture of Shape-Shifting Technique, Molecular Rearrangement! It was still the classroom where the last meeting was. This time, besides Frigga, Irene was also there. Seeing Aaron coming, Frigga showed a soft smile, and rarely joked. Aaron seems to be a little different from what you said. I heard you said that he is very interested in new magic. Why, since he studied with me, I haven't seen it for days. Could it be that I'm old and not as attractive as young and beautiful teachers like you? It's not like that, Queen. Although it was clear that Frigga was not angry, Irene still hurriedly said, Aaron just learned too many complicated magics, and it takes some time to settle down. If it were us, I'm afraid we would just be proficient in these magics. It will take hundreds of years. No matter how evil he behaves, he is just a magic apprentice. Apprentice? I don't think it's that simple. Have you ever seen an apprentice who can make magic equipment so quickly? Frigga's eyes fell on Aaron's armor, and based on her experience, it was easy to see the difference. Although the battle armor worn by other soldiers has also been enchanted, it is the exclusive equipment of the soldiers. Aaron has not passed the warrior assessment and is not eligible to obtain it. Moreover, the magical fluctuations on Aaron's armor are stronger than the armor worn by the elite guarding the Golden Hall. Obviously, this is a powerful piece of magic equipment. What? Have you learned enchanting? Hearing this, Irene looked at Aaron quickly, with a bit of anxiety and reproach in her words. Didn't I say that the most important thing for you now is to learn other magics, and when you have mastered those magics, you can learn more about them. Consider spending time studying enchanting magic. Going to learn enchanting now will only waste precious time. Other than that, it is useless. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. If I hadn't given you the magic book back then, you wouldn't have become interested in enchanting magic. Erin blamed herself very much. She thought it was her own fault that Aaron went astray. At that time, I was amazed by Aaron's monstrous magic ability, and in order to delay time, I took out enchanting magic. Unexpectedly, the expedient measure the time actually delayed Aaron's learning of other more useful magic. In this regard, Aaron only said, I won't waste time. I followed your suggestion to learn other magics before starting to learn enchanting magic. It didn't take me much time. Really? Aaron asked in doubt. Aaron nodded. As he said, he really didn't spend much time on enchanting. While learning enchanting, he did not forget to step up to improve other magic. The biggest improvement among them is materialization magic. It won't be long before it will be upgraded to LV6. Aaron is looking forward to the power of LV6 materialization magic. He had a hunch that would give him a huge boost. If it weren't for Amora telling him that Odin was preparing for Thor's coronation, Aaron would not come back until he upgraded the materialization magic. Advertisement. Ad. Coupled with the fact that Fraggle has repeatedly pushed back on his teaching arrangements, Aaron decided to come here first in order to prevent Fraggle from overthinking. On the way, he even revealed the news of several kinds of magic equipment to Thor and others in advance. It was just to spread it out with their hands, and let everyone know that he was studying enchantment while staying at home during this period of time. It seems that you have gained a lot in enchanting during this period of time. Frigga walked in slowly, looking at the magic armor up close. After a while, his face became serious, and his tone did not hide his appreciation. I believe what you said, just the energy shield magic engraved on the magic armor has already surpassed me. You actually have time to master enchanting skills so deeply while learning to improve other magics. It's hard to imagine how you did it. Frigga even asserted, except for Odin, your enchantment ability has surpassed any other magician. Facing Frigga's praise, Aaron was very calm. With heaven rewarding hard work, isn't it possible to change anyone? If you can't even do this, what a waste. I'm afraid it's not even as good as it. Aaron was flat, but Irene was not. Hearing Frigga's praise, the smile on his face could not be hidden for a long time, and he felt a sense of pride. I no longer blame myself. That's right, ordinary magicians can't do two things at the same time, but for evildoers, it probably doesn't apply. Frigga hadn't been entangled in enchanting for long. She was amazed at Aaron's ability, but at the moment she was a magic teacher, responsible for guiding Aaron's magic and guiding him to a path that was beneficial to Asgard. So after the fun is over, let's get back to the topic. As your teacher, it took me so long to teach you a spell. As a teacher, I am very unqualified. I remember Irene mentioned to me that she taught you many spells on the first day. At this point, I am not as competent as Irene. As compensation, the magic taught this time is still up to you. Frigga deserves to be the most popular queen, A few words can make people feel close. Obviously it was Aaron who delayed the teaching progress several times, but he still took the responsibility on himself. Even Aaron felt a sense of closeness when he heard this. On the way here, I saw Loki used a magic. He can change the shape and appearance of the armor according to his own ideas. Shape-shifting. Frigga immediately thought of what kind of magic it was, and then thought of something else. He shook his head and chuckled lightly. Speaking of which, the child Loki caused a lot of trouble with the shape-shifting technique, and it always gives people headaches. After you learn the shape-shifting magic, don't make people worry like him. After sighing for a moment, before Aaron could answer, she began to introduce the principle of shape-shifting. The shape-shifting technique in the traditional sense is a kind of effect of changing the shape-shifting shape of oneself or other people or other objects to achieve camouflage. The original nature of its object does not change, only the appearance. It's like this. Advertisement. Frigg cast a spell with the wave of her hand, turning a chair not far away into a horse. Although its shape is no different from that of a real horse, Aaron's perception clearly detects the abnormality of the horse. Horses are still dead. See it? Frigga said firmly. With your magical attainments, you can't hide this level of shape-shifting from you. After all, this is just the most traditional shape-shifting technique. The most traditional shape-shifting technique? Aaron's heart moved. Could there be a deeper shape-shifting technique? Frigga's next words proved Aaron's conjecture. A more esoteric twist on traditional shape-shifting. Compared to the false camouflage created by traditional shape-shifting techniques, this advanced magic can permanently change an object into another object, achieving permanent shape-shifting, and has some physical properties of the object after shape-shifting. Definitely, although shape-shifting can be done permanently, if an object originally has strong energy, it can still have the ability to use energy after shape-shifting, and even rely on huge energy to forcibly reverse shape-shifting. Hearing this, Aaron suddenly remembered something. Frog Thor. In one universe, Loki once turned Thor into a frog. This is beyond the scope of traditional shape-shifting. Aaron also thought about how to achieve such a realistic effect simply by changing the camouflage of the object. Unless it's an illusion. But what Loki used several times was clearly not an illusion. And a blanket to fluff yourself up with. Phantom? Wrong. Traditional shape-shifting? Not right either. How can simple shape-shifting make an object have the effect of a blanket? Now hearing what Frigga said, Aaron suddenly became enlightened. Loki will also have advanced shape-shifting magic. However, this magic must have a great demand for magic power. Moreover, it cannot be fully effective for objects that originally have strong energy. For example, Thor the frog still has the power of Thor. Aaron also thought of a master shape-shifting art, Odin. When Loki was a baby, Odin made Loki look like an Asgardian. Even now Loki is still unaware of the shape-shifting technique applied to him. It can be seen that Odin's shape-shifting skills are so high. Advertisement. Ad. While thinking about it, Frigg also mentioned other shortcomings of the advanced shape-shifting technique, and the magic power is the biggest flaw. To cast this magic, it is best to have huge magic power. The object of the shape-shifting technique is best to be a dead object, or the energy is not as good as yourself, and you don't have much magic attainment, otherwise the effect will be greatly reduced. Aaron nodded in understanding, but he wanted advanced shape-shifting more. In fact, even if he learned the traditional shape-shifting technique, it doesn't matter. With the existence of Goldfinger, it will definitely be upgraded to the advanced version of shape-shifting technique. However, if you can skip this stage directly and learn the advanced version of magic, it will definitely save time. However, to Aaron's surprise, Frigg had something to say. Through the study of your phantom magic, from phantom to real individual, this gave me great inspiration. Since then, I have started to think about the possibility of further improvement of other magic. And then I discovered the potential of shape-shifting. The advanced shape-shifting technique, because it changes one object into another, involves material transformation, and contains quite profound knowledge, so I think it has the potential to be further explored. Among them, I discovered a deeper level of magic, molecular rearrangement. As the name suggests, molecular rearrangement can decompose and reassemble objects at the molecular level. If shape-shifting can do this level of change, it's a quantum leap forward. Aaron's heart shuddered, because according to what Frigg said, it is very possible for shape-shifting to advance to molecular rearrangement. The shape-shifting technique is already quite powerful. If it really becomes a molecular rearrangement, it will be even more terrifying. It's a pity ... I don't have the energy to study molecular rearrangements anymore. That's why I'm going to hand over this task to you. With your phantom magic attainments, it's very likely that you will complete this magic progression. Frigg is old too. There is also too much waste in magic. Her magical ability, not even comparable to Loki. It is very difficult to study molecular rearrangements. It is really powerless. Next, Frigga began to talk about the principles of traditional shapeshifting and advanced shapeshifting. Then he began to talk about his research on advanced shapeshifting. As she said, she wanted Aaron to accomplish the feat. Say it bluntly. Once completed, with just this one spell, one can become the god of magic. The other side, Golden Hall. Sif finds Odin with the invisibility cloak.